doing amazing? It's DarlingDTarot bringing you another pick a card reading. So for today, we are going to be getting right into this and asking the question, who is your future partner? So this will be going over characteristics, qualities, and traits of your future partner, as well as what your relationship is going to be like and how they feel about you. So going forward, we have three lovely piles as per usual. We have stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3. Now you can choose based off of the energy of the pile, the number of the pile, or the item associated with each stack. So for today, for stack 1, we have this really awesome old pedometer. How cool is that? For stack 2, we have this old key that belongs to one of my old wardrobes. And for stack 3, we have this cameo. I have used this in a lot of other readings in the past, but I just love it so much, right? I think it's so pretty. So I will give you a few seconds to choose, but first, let's take a deep breath in. Let's hold it. And release. And with that, I will give you a few seconds to choose. You can choose just one, you can choose 2, or all 3, whichever resonates with you. If you feel like your choice does not resonate, you can always go back and pick a new stack. So I will see you at your pick. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 1. Let's get right into your reading and see who is your future partner. So getting right into your reading, I just want to quickly touch on the fact that you chose the pedometer. Woohoo! This is a really awesome item to have because I feel like your future partner is someone who is incredibly sporty. This is someone who loves to put themselves out in the public eye, loves to maybe be very active. Maybe they love to go to the gym, they love to mountain bike, they love to hike, they love to mountain climb, they love to go swimming. This is someone who just loves to constantly be doing something and maybe even challenging their bodies. Maybe this is for some of you someone who works professionally in regards to sports. Maybe this is someone who even has a little Apple Watch, like a Fitbit or something that's on their wrist that they're constantly checking and seeing what their heart rate is. They're seeing how their blood flow is and all that good stuff, right? Maybe this is someone who just really loves to be very fit. They love to be very athletic. Maybe this is someone who is incredibly muscular at the same time. Regardless, I feel like this is someone who also counts time as opposed to years by lessons, right? So it doesn't matter if someone is 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. It all matters on the lessons that you learn and the wisdom that you have. And I feel like this is someone who puts a lot of emphasis on what has gone on in your life that has made you become the person that you are today. I feel like that's something that they might say to you when they first meet you. I feel like that's something that is a very important question to them, right? Because there's a lot of moments in their own life that shaped them and that made them the person that they are going forward. And I feel like it's a very good way for them to understand who another person is by asking that sort of question. I feel like this is someone who wants to have very deep conversations with you, but at times it might be a little bit hard for them. This is someone who loves to go out on kind of active dates because then they don't have to talk all that much. If the two of you are going out running or going out hiking or, maybe even just going out and doing a pottery class and getting your hands dirty, there isn't that much conversation that has to go on. And I feel like they have a list of questions that they ask all of their partners, regardless of if they're going to be long-term or if they're going to just kind of have a single date with them. I feel like they have questions they want to ask, but they're not all that good at conversation, right? I feel like this is someone who might get a little bit tied up on what they're going to say next. This is someone who is incredibly analytical and someone who might come off as a little bit reserved at first as well. But with this pedometer, I feel like they're very realistic. I feel like this is someone who lives very much in the present moment. They're not living in the past. They're not living in the future. I feel like they're very, very well centered and very well balanced, right? So going forward onto your first 2 cards, these are your angel therapy cards, and these are talking about what you should know in regards to your future partner. So we have heart chakra and earth angel. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome cards to start off with. Right off the bat, heart chakra, it says, the answer that you seek right now is in your heart. Be open to giving and receiving love. Now, what I adore about this card is the fact that it shows someone who is incredibly open. You know, not only is his body language open, but also the fact that he has this beautiful rainbow around his head. It makes me feel like your future partner is someone who isn't judgmental. This is someone who is incredibly open-minded and open-hearted. They might even be bilingual for some of you. Notice how he's really talking with his hands. I feel like this is someone who might work with their hands a lot. Maybe they love to kind of get their hands dirty. For some of you, maybe they work in pottery. Maybe they work as an artist, maybe they're a musician. I feel like for some of you as well, they work in ASL. Maybe they're an ASL signer, maybe they're an interpreter. Maybe they're just someone who teaches sign language, but I feel like for some of you that's really going to resonate with them. Maybe someone in their family has to use sign language, and that's just a really beautiful aspect about them that you're really going to admire, is how intellectual they are and how open to understanding another person they are as well. I feel like that's something you're really going to connect with, but I feel like it's because they want to understand people. They want to understand other people's hardships and get to know them better, right? This is also someone who might be a little bit empathetic because of the fact that we have the Earth Angel card, right? It says you are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. Your future partner is an Earth Angel, and I feel like that's even how you're going to look at them. It's like, whoa, did you fall from the sky? Because you are literally an angel. Like, you were sent to me from my guardian angels, from my spirit guides. There might even be times where the two of you are so much alike that you kind of side-eye them, and you're like, excuse me, where did you come from? Maybe you get a little bit suspicious about them too. Like, where did you say you're from, Henry? Are you sure my angels didn't send you? My spirit guides knew I was trying to bring someone into my life, you know? So I feel like this is someone who is just going to bring a lot of happiness into your life. I feel like they might be very clairaudient, and you might have conversations with other people about them, and then later on in the night, they'll come over to you and be like, oh, hey, honey, so about that dessert that we talked about earlier, and it's just so out of the blue. And you're going to be like, well, how did they know about that? But it's also because they are incredibly spiritual and they're incredibly in tune with others. But it kind of comes from the fact that they are incredibly in tune with themselves. I feel like this is someone who shows love very easily. This is someone who shows compassion very easily as well. Now, they might be a little bit closed off with the Earth Angel card. You know, she's kind of shutting herself off a little bit with her wings, you know, as opposed to this heart chakra. Maybe this is them when they get to know someone, and this is them when they're first meeting you. You know, they seem a little bit distant, they seem a little bit reserved and a little bit maybe even absent-minded, right? Maybe they seem like someone who is constantly daydreaming or constantly somewhere else, but it's just because they're planning what they're going to be doing later that day, planning every little detail. This might be someone who is a little bit of an overthinker and overanalyzer from time to time, and maybe that is a little bit hard for them in regards to speaking their mind and having these heart-to-heart conversations. Maybe they're a little bit worried about people laughing in their face because they are so sensitive and sentimental. This is someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, even if they don't necessarily look like it, right? This is someone who has definitely had to learn how to put up barriers, had to learn how to protect their heart, especially going forward. You know, maybe this is someone who comes off a little bit defensive, but it couldn't be any further from the truth. They're actually someone who is incredibly romantic, someone who is incredibly loving and absolutely talented as well. Maybe when you first get to meet this person, you think, oh my goodness, they are so career-oriented, they're so this, they're so that, but then you're like, oh, wow, you know, this is someone who just really, really focuses on their passions and on their hobbies first and foremost, and they make that shmoney, right? This is someone who is incredibly successful and incredibly abundant. They live in that prosperity energy. There is always enough. There is more than enough to go around, right? Also, I want to really quick touch on the fact that we do have those green robes here. Maybe this is someone who works with Archangel Michael. You can work with Archangel Michael as well to bring this person in a little bit faster into your life. But at the same time, I feel like this might be a healer. Maybe this is someone who works in the medical field or the medical industry. Maybe this is someone who works as a pharmacist. Maybe this is someone as well who has a lot of like veganism, maybe even a vegetarian. Maybe this is someone who is just very, very concerned with health. You know, maybe they have a very healing touch at the same time. Green is also talking about the heart chakra. It's talking about how there's someone who is actively healing their own heart chakra. Maybe because they're so giving, they're so loving and understanding, this is someone who has kind of been taken into other people's lives, chewed up, and then spit back out. And then people have just kind of been like, bye, and they've left. left. And it's been really disappointing and upsetting and maybe even bewildering for this person, you know, because they couldn't understand, well, why? I'm someone who is loving. I was all that in a bag of chips for you. I went out every week and bought you your favorite sock colors, Karen. I made sure you had every color sock from the Gap. What are you telling me, Karen? You know, so it's that kind of an energy. They're just very confused about it. But regardless, this is someone who is incredibly understanding and also very, very psychic. I feel like the two of you might actually astral project and visit each other in dreams. Maybe there is, for some of you that have picked this deck specifically, you know, it's this energy of there's this person in your dreams that you've always remembered, but you couldn't quite like figure out who it was because you've never seen them around before. And then finally you meet this person and you're going to realize, oh wow, you were from that dream that I had like 3 years ago when I was with Jacob, and I knew it wasn't Jacob, but I didn't want to tell him, right? And maybe it was something that was always kind of on your mind, but that's who this person is. Regardless, your future partner is someone who has come back to Earth, reincarnated, to teach a lot of people about love, acceptance, and compassion. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits of your future partner. So we have elk, manatee, and cheetah. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome cards. Okay, especially with manatee. Remember how I was saying that this is someone who might struggle a little bit with control issues? That's where manatee comes kind of floating on in, right? Because it says accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. And I feel like that's the energy they're going to be in by the time that you meet them, right? They're no longer going to be struggling of, well, this has to be that way and this has to go this way and, you know, this and that and this and that. They're not going to beat themselves up so much. They're not going to be such a harsh critic on themselves either. I think that they're finally going to be giving themselves enough credit. They're finally going to be sticking up for themselves, especially with elk and cheetah. These are 2 very powerful, powerful animals. Both have a lot of respect, a lot of dignity. You know, they are both revered in their communities. But I really feel like they're coming into their power. Those that pick stack 1, your future partner is someone who can very much stand on their own 2 feet. They can become very self-reliant going forward. And I feel like maybe that's something they struggled with in the past. Maybe they had relationships where they were constantly self-reliant, and that's why we have the pedometer, was because they took the steps needed in order to go a different path. You know, maybe they needed to take a step in the right direction. Regardless, with the elk card, it says stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect that you deserve, right? So it's that simple, and I feel like this is someone who is stepping into their power. They're becoming someone who can stick up for themselves, someone who can speak up their mind, and someone who can say, no, Jerry, I'm not going to put up with that any longer, right? They're going to just call people out, and not in a way that's confrontational, not in a way that they're just picking fights to pick fights, but I feel like they're not going to allow themselves to be the butt of the joke anymore. They're no longer going to deal with energies where maybe they're kind of dealing with self-deprecation and self-deprecating jokes. They're no longer going to deal with other people being disrespectful to them. They're no longer going to deal with people not giving them their dues because they've worked extremely hard. This is someone who gives 110% on every single thing that they do. So it's very frustrating for your future partner when they're constantly putting this energy out and constantly kind of doing their best and extending their neck for other people. And they don't do the same for them. So I feel like with this sort of spiritual side and with this blue, and then this indigo and purple, I feel like they're finding a way to balance their intuition and their spiritual side with their emotions. Because maybe in the past, when they were overanalyzing and when they were overthinking, your future partner might have been someone who is prone to jumping to conclusions. And maybe that's even why we have cheetah, where it's talking about it's okay to be at a standstill and figure out what you're doing next before you jump right into it and sprint towards that goal, right? Because it's very much saying, you know, make sure that you're not jumping to conclusions. Make sure that it's not just your emotions that you're feeling very vividly, because this is someone who feels their emotions so deeply that from time to time they get so enmeshed in the situation and in their emotions that they can't necessarily see out of it. It just gets a little bit cloudy. This might even be someone who struggles with a little bit of depression and maybe even self-confidence issues, right? But that's something that they're really working through, and they're really emerging on the other side as someone who is victorious, someone who is is strong and independent and glorious, right? Oh my goodness, but they're doing a lot of work in order to achieve that. Now, with these antlers, I feel like this is them trying to protect themselves, putting up this energy of, you know, you can come over to me and say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to protect myself, and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. I'm hearing quiet riots. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it, right? But with Manatee, we also have, again, this indigo, blue, and purple. So very much balancing of emotions and also their intuition, balancing what they are receiving from their spirit guides and what they're feeling through their ego. Maybe this is someone who in the past has very much struggled with their ego kind of bringing them down or trying to take them down a peg in order to hold them back from achieving their full potential, right? Maybe this is someone who in the past has also found comfort in holding themselves back a little bit. Since we do have your card and your item both indicating that this is someone who loves to take those steps forward and loves to take action, I feel like this is someone who would just kind of jump into things and worry about things the next day. But now they're looking into the future, and now they're looking kind of past tomorrow. They're looking past next week, and they're thinking, geez, where is it that I want to go from here? Where is it that I want to be? How do I want people to treat me going forward as well? I feel like they're very much reinventing themselves. So for some of you, maybe around their birthday, around this future partner's birthday, they just decide, hey, I'm going to try something completely brand new. They change their lifestyle. Maybe even they change their hair color. They change their look, maybe their clothes, and they go out on the dating scene again. And maybe that's when they find you, and it's just like the stars align and the angels sing, and everything is beautiful, right? So going on to your next two cards, we have these Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are going to be going over overall energies this person is bringing into your life. So we have number 16, listen, and number 9, togetherness. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome cards. Number 16 would be the number 7, which is talking about literally going your own path in life. You know, it doesn't have to be traditional. It doesn't have to be the way that Sarah or John or James would do, you know, a relationship or even do a marriage. It doesn't even have to be a marriage. It could be a hand fasting that the two of you go towards. Maybe the two of you are going to just live together, or just kind of go through your own traditional kind of commitment ceremony. But regardless, I feel like the two of you are going to do things very uniquely. It's going to be a very authentic and genuine relationship, but with that, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced before. But I say that in the most beautiful of ways. It's very conductive, and it's a very healthy relationship. This is someone who is always going to listen to you. They always are going to want to have that dialogue with you as well. You can call them at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and they're always going to answer. They're always going to be there for you to open up and for you to bloom and to tell them what's on your mind, right? Do you see how this flower on her head is kind of opening up as she shares her wisdom with this bird? And this bird is just intently listening. Even though he should be singing and having a good time, he's listening to his friend because she has a lot of concerns. And I very much feel like that's the energy of you and your future partner, is that you can go to this person at any time and they will be a captive audience for you. You know, this is someone who is not going to judge you. They're not going to laugh at your problems. They're not going to say, oh, well, I mean, look at all the other people who might have it worse than you. You know, I think that there's someone who is just very, they're very caring. They're very compassionate. Again, understanding. I know I sound like a broken record, but that is the overall energy of them. This is someone who believes in compromise. They believe in cooperation. And I think that they don't mind, you know, come into compromises with you. If you wanted to do something one night, then they'd say, okay, well, we'll do this. We'll have a night where you pick everything you want to do, and then the next night I'll pick the things that we do. This is someone who bends very easily, you know, but they're someone who gives in order to also receive. This is someone who believes in reciprocity. They believe in 50-50. So make sure that you're also stepping forward with that for them, because that's very important. They're someone who also wants to be listened to, because I feel like your future partner is someone who has a lot of responsibilities and a lot of burdens that they kind of have to carry forward with them. Maybe this is someone who takes care of a family member. Maybe this is someone who has a lot of pets. Maybe this is someone who just has a lot of goals for themselves, right? And they're really pushing themselves forward. So I feel like they need someone from time to time to really listen to them and to really hear them out without saying, oh, well, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. You know, just being a friend. Maybe this is someone who, for some of you, I feel like some of you, this person's going to be popular. For others of you, I feel like they're just going to have a small group of friends. They might have like 4 or 5 really close friends, maybe even one really, really close friend. And that's about it. This is someone who doesn't need a big group, a big gathering in order to be happy. It's all about quality as opposed to quantity, right? Now, with this card as well, it says paying attention and communicating. So there's definitely going to be a lot of communication within this relationship. Maybe that's something that they strayed away from in past relationships, and that's something they're really going to stress going forward. Maybe that's something they even feel is what failed their past relationships, was that they didn't have that open dialogue, was that they didn't pay enough attention. Maybe they're worried that that might happen again in the future going forward, no matter who they're with, right? Because maybe this is someone who gets extremely distracted. Maybe this is someone who, as soon as their eye catches something, they have to just immediately run over there and see what it is. They're like, ooh, shiny thing, and then they run up, right? But regardless, they're going to want to do everything together with you. I feel like they're going to want to travel. They're going to want to introduce you to their friends, to their family members. They're going to want to take you on vacations. They're going to want to travel with you. Honestly, I feel like that's just the main energy, is let's have fun. Let's be best friends at the same time as being partners. There's a lot of loyalty as well. It's very much ride or die energy, almost like Bonnie and Clyde, if you will. But we also have fellowship and bonding. So they love having that bonding time, and they love when you spend time with them and their friends. I feel like that's incredibly important to them going forward, is that you do spend time with their friends, because that's who they care about. That's who they love, and they want you to love them as well. They also want their friends to love you. I feel like some of their friends might be a little bit skeptical at first, not to scare you though. I feel like they're all going to come around. They're all going to love you, but I feel like they're just watching out for their friend, because their friend is someone who has been deceived in the past. Their friend has been hurt, and I feel like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I feel like they're very, very much protecting him. Another message that I literally just got was the fact that they've never met someone just like you. So do you see how we have a woman, we have a lion, and we have a cat? So I feel like maybe that's their friends. It could even be their family members. And this is them. They're the cheetah. Notice how we had a cheetah earlier as well? That is incredible. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they finally have a second cheetah right behind them, if you can see that. And I feel like that's you. I feel like that's your energy, where they're like, I recognize myself in you, and I recognize you in myself. I feel like we are cut from the same cloth. Maybe they even feel like the two of you are soulmates or twin flames. But regardless, maybe that's why they're going to be a little bit cautious going forward, as well as because the two of you mirror each other so much. I feel like the two of you are incredibly similar, very intellectual. The two of you could even exchange books and stuff for, just kind of gifts throughout the year, and then have like little book clubs. I just feel like the two of you love very intellectual dates. You love very stimulating conversation too. And that's something you're going to be doing together. And that's something that maybe even their friends are going to pick up on, is, wow, they finally found someone who is just like them. They finally found someone who mirrors their energy and is just as weird as them, right? And I feel like that was very hard for your future partner to be able to find. It was hard for them to find someone who was a cheetah as well, when all they were finding was peacocks and lions and cats and ladies, right? So going forward onto your next three cards, these are your spirit animal messages cards, and these are talking about what messages their higher self wants you to know going forward. So we have number 63, Vulture Spirit, number 10, Buffalo Spirit, and number 60, Swan Spirit. Woohoo! So these are really awesome energies. So with number 63, I feel like that would be with the number 9, them saying, hey, I'm someone who is incredibly independent. I feel like the relationship still has to have its independent streaks into it. I don't want this to be all consuming, even though we are going to spend a lot of time together, even though I do want to have you consume the majority of my time. I also want to make sure that I have time for myself. I also want to make sure that I'm still pursuing my passions and my hobbies and spending time with my friends, right? Now, going on to the main message, it says nothing is wasted. And I feel like that's something that the both of you really have to understand, especially with this pedometer. Maybe some of you were very drawn to it because it looked like a pocket watch, right? And maybe you've been manifesting this person into your life, and you're like, it's only a matter of time. When are they going to come into my life? All this wasted time with all these past partners as well, but nothing is wasted. They're all lessons. These are all opportunities to grow. even the stagnant moments in our life are there for a reason. It's there for us to meditate. It's there for us to learn more about ourselves and to have discovery. So they're saying nothing is wasted. Even if you feel like it's taking a long time for your future partner to come into your life, use that buffer space in between to focus on your own passions, focus on your hobbies, and keep on keeping on, keep moving forward, right? Because that's very important. Your future partner wants you to continue being independent and keep pursuing things that you feel very passionate about. So with number 10, Buffalo Spirit, the number 10 would be talking about the closing of a cycle finally coming to an end, or a finishing close, maybe even a happily ever after. But again, notice how we were talking about the buffer period in between space, that stagnant area, and we have that 0 right after the 1. That's the space in between where we can decide, what journey am I going on next? Where do I want to direct my energy as well in this next period? And that's even wonderful with moon cycles. Maybe this is a direct sign of manifest me using moon cycles. For some of you, it's also a direct message of I am with you when I am looking at the moon as well. We both are looking at the same moon. So maybe have a little bit of comfort at the same time that your future partner is somewhere watching the same moon as you at that exact moment, right? And just kind of waiting and maybe even wondering where you are, maybe hoping that you're looking at the same moon as them, right? So with Buffalo Spirit, it says the abundant universe will provide. So trust in the universe, surrender as well. Know that this happily ever after is right around the corner. It's only a matter of time, but keep taking steps in the right direction. I'm going to be making puns this entire stack, honestly. So with number 60, Swan Spirit, the number 6 would be talking about abundance. Woohoo! Can also be talking about manifestation, someone who is a master manifester. Maybe they're saying work with the law of attraction. Make sure that you are practicing your affirmations as well going forward, because that's going to bring unconditional love into your life. Also know that you are worthy of love and that you are capable of finding someone who is going to bring a healthy connection to you, right? This is someone who is going to be your ideal partner, just as you are going to be their ideal partner. So take comfort in that going forward. The number 6 would also be talking about someone who is incredibly career oriented. So they're saying continue to focus on your career, continue to make that money, continue to maybe even put some away for a rainy day, right? It never hurts to have a little bit of extra money. Now with the Swan Spirit, it says time for a deep dive. Get to know yourself, have that discovery time. Maybe that's even why we have so many zeros, that buffer space in between. Make sure that you're getting to know yourself. Make sure that you're getting to know what it is that you want out of a partnership too. Sometimes we can sit down and say, well, I want this, 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 and this out of a partnership. And when it shows up in our lives and we get it, we're looking at it and we're like, oof, what was I thinking, man? Well, really? And you're just a little bit confused about it. So going forward, just make sure that you're being true to yourself and true to your heart about what it is you want in a relationship. Do you want to get married? Do you want something traditional? Do you want something untraditional? Do you want children? Do you not want children? Are you open to potentially even just talking about it and seeing where it leads? But make sure that you know yourself, so then that way you're setting up boundaries for yourself and for your partner going forward. It just kind of keeps the two of you on the same track as well, when the two of you can both be open about what it is that you truly want, right? Now with Swan Spirit as well, this makes me think of two people who are incredibly loyal. It brings me back to that loyalty card that we had earlier. So I feel like this is someone who is saying, hey, I'm going to mate with you for life. Like, this is a ride or die thing. You have me for the rest of forever, if that's for how long you wanted me for, right? So going on to your next 3 cards, these are your animal spirit totem cards. And these are talking about, if we were to sum up your future partner into 3 tarot cards, how would they be described? So we have the 3 of Cups, the Emperor card, and the 6 of Swords. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome cards, especially with the 3 of Cups starting us off. Maybe kind of as a confirmation, since we have had some 3s kind of prior to this. I know it was only like 1 3 with the 63, but still, it makes me think of it because we have a 3 and we have a 6, right? So regardless, with this 3 of Cups, they're someone who is incredibly balanced. They're very harmonious, and they want there to be peace among their family, their friends, and everyone in general, right? It also goes back to that energy of being an earth angel. I feel like this is someone who is just genuinely joyous. They're genuinely very upbeat, maybe even childlike as well, the way that they view the world. I feel like they have a really wonderful way of seeing things. Maybe they have a really awesome perspective. Even though they are very realistic, especially with this Emperor energy, it makes me think of someone who can be a little bit serious from time to time. Maybe they even come off as someone who's a little bit stoic, or maybe they have a little bit of, maybe kind of a stink face from time to time, where they just kind of glare at you or they mean mug you, and you're just sort of like, why are you mean mugging me, my dude? But it's just because they're deep in thought, and they're someone who is contemplative. The Emperor is someone who is incredibly strong. He's incredibly resourceful. He is intelligent. Honestly, he is the ideal partner. He has everything. He can bring in the bacon. He can bring in, stability as well. He's someone who can maybe even clear out an area for his partner to live in. This is someone who is the complete package, and I feel like that's the energy that you're really going to pick up on with this future partner is, wow, this is someone who is incredibly mature. This is someone who has put the work in, and they're also knowing how to enjoy themselves as well. They work hard so they can play hard, and that's something you're really going to admire about them, is that they're still very, very in touch with their inner child, even if they come off a little bit stoic or come off like they're going to potentially beat you up, right? I feel like that's just sort of their energy. Maybe at first they come off a little bit intimidating, but it's only because they know their worth, and they're not going to waste their time on, people that they feel like aren't worth their time, which actually brings me back to this Vulture card. Again, nothing is wasted though. So I feel like that's a very, very hard lesson for your future partner to have to learn, is that nothing is wasted, and that everything that comes into their life is a learning opportunity. Now, with the Emperor as well, it makes me feel like maybe this is someone who would be very open to the idea of having children with you. Maybe this is someone who would be very open to adopting a bunch of animals as well, but they first want to make sure that they have the funds. This isn't someone who is just going to immediately jump in and say, let's have children tomorrow, Deborah. This is someone who is going to make sure that they have money saved up in the bank, that you guys have a house, that you have everything in line and everything in order before you take that next step. This is someone who is incredibly careful and incredibly meticulous, especially with it being the Emperor. This is every king rolled up into one. This is the ideal man or woman, right? But it's that divine masculine energy regardless of gender. This is someone who is a very, very headstrong person. They're a go-getter. They're very dedicated and courageous at the same time. They can stick up for you, especially when people are trying to maybe say something rude, or maybe people are just trying to challenge them. They'll get back in their face and be like, don't be saying that to my Denise. Don't be saying that to her. So we also have these Six of Swords. I feel like this is someone who can definitely navigate through very tough situations. I feel like this is someone who would be a very amazing mediator, someone who is very good at coming to common ground with other people, but they're also very good at navigating tough situations to get out of them, right? Maybe if they see a fight going on between coworkers in the hallway, this is the type of person who would just kind of quietly sneak out and be like, no, not today. I'm not dealing with this today. I can't do this. Now with the Six of Swords, it's kind of like, I could be abundant in a lot of things, but I don't want to be abundant in that, right? Now, this is also talking in traditional tarot about packing up your ship with all of the wisdom that you've learned, all the knowledge that you have, and then going forward with that knowledge, going forward with kind of a clearer perspective, about what it is that you want and what it is that you want to put your energy towards. And maybe that's even where they're at in regards to relationship, is they're deciding, what do I want in terms of relationship? Where do I want to see myself in 25 years and 30 years and 40 years, right? So going on to your next few cards, these are your Ethereal Visions cards, and these are talking about more information on your future partners. So we have the King of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Ace of Wands. Woohoo! So with the King of Swords, this is someone who, again, they might come off very stoic, they might come off as very reserved or even cold. I feel like cold could be a very good word to describe them, especially with the King of Swords. Now, again, I feel like this is someone who is maturing to be able to use their words, to be able to rely on communication, especially in terms of a relationship. They want to be able to talk to someone. They want to be able to be open. But they're also not going to just kind of let people in just willy-nilly. This is someone who has to be very analytical about it. This is someone who maybe is even learning how to rely a little bit more on their logic and on their knowledge as opposed to their feelings and their intuition. For some of you that chose this pile as well, I feel like they could have air in their chart. This could be Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. So I feel like they really do want to have those really deep conversations with you as well. Some of them are incredibly psychic, especially with Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, I see them all as very psychic signs. I see them very much from time to time as people pleasers until they get into this energy of I need to persevere and I need to protect myself, kind of self-preservation mode, if you will. This is someone who relies very heavily on the divine with the messages, with the ravens. You might even see a lot of ravens when you first are getting to know this person or when you're first meeting them. It's kind of talking about that you're on the right track, and that you've met the right person. I feel like for some of you, maybe this is someone who is also an Odin worshiper. Maybe it's one of those energies. But we also have the Four of Cups. So I feel like they're saying, I'm very picky in regards to relationships. I don't accept just anyone into my life. I'm not going to just wife anyone up or husband anyone up either. I need a very, very good connection. I need someone who I'm going to feel stable and comfortable with. But I feel like this is someone who has also waited until their finances have been in a really good place until they could then put their intention towards career. Maybe they had to put so much energy towards their career for the longest time that they even thought to themselves, hey, I don't have time for a relationship. I don't have time to be getting my heart broken or to be, potentially breaking someone else's heart. I just don't have time for it. I have to go towards my own money. With the Seven of Pentacles, this is them watching their finances grow and maybe even watching their successes grow around them. This is someone who could have potentially bought a new house within the last year, or maybe are planning on buying a brand new house in the upcoming years. This is someone who also decorates their apartment or house very nicely. I feel like they just love to feel incredibly kind of accomplished going forward, right? Especially with the Hierophant. They're stepping into that leadership energy, but they're maturing from the King of Swords into the Hierophant. Notice how the King of Swords' beard is like slightly turning white at the bottom of it, and now we have the Hierophant who has a completely white beard. So I feel like that's very much their energy of I'm growing, I'm evolving, and I'm continuing to change. I'm continuing to better myself. I feel like this is someone who also takes stock in not only their very good qualities and their good aspects, but also can take a look kind of back at themselves and say, what are my bad qualities? Let me take a step back from this situation and see what I can handle, what I can take care of, what I can do better at. This is someone who always wants to better themselves and always wants to be a better person going forward. With the Hierophant, they're also thinking about marriage. They're probably even thinking, well, maybe I'm getting a little bit kind of older. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too old. Maybe they're seeing themselves as an old man or woman that just needs to settle down and have kids already, right? They need to settle down and have a little house by the seashore, and they can't waste any more time, and they have to do it now, right? But regardless, for some of you, they just really crave change, and I feel like they crave change in regards to a divine partnership, something that feels incredibly important and something that feels a lot larger than the two of you could have even anticipated to begin with, right? But we also have the Ace of Wands. They want something that's going to be passionate, something that's going to be fun-loving, and something that isn't going to be incredibly serious, right? Of course, they want a serious relationship with the Hierophant. I love that it's kind of a clarifier with the Ace of Wands as well, because they're like, oh yeah, no, I want something serious, but at the same time, like, can we be kids? Can we be best friends? Can we maybe go to Disneyland and just have a good day eating turkey legs the size of our arms? Can we do that? I feel like this is someone who just always wants to have a good time. They want to be your best friend, even when you're married, even when you're tied down to them. And they don't want you to see it that way. They don't want you to see it as you're tied down to them either, because there is a lot of freedom in this relationship. Notice how this hand is gripping the wand, but the wand is going all these other places except down and wrapping around the hand. So it's very much saying there's freedom here. You can go wherever you want. You can even put this wand down for a while if you'd like to. The only thing that matters is if you come back and pick it up again. Maybe this is even them saying, I will always be there for you as long as you come back to me at the end of the day and we talk, and we kind of go over maybe what happened to us over the past few hours. So going on to your next few cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how the relationship will be between the two of you. So going on to your next few cards, these are going to be your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about overall energies of what the relationship will be like. So we have the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Cups, oh my goodness, the Tower card, the Seven of Cups, the Temperance card, the World, and the Nine of Pentacles. All right, so I'm loving all of the nines so much. I think that is an incredible energy to be in. Woohoo! Woohoo! So this is definitely talking about independence. It's definitely talking about still pursuing your own goals and maybe even having your own times of solitude, even while you flourish in this relationship. Notice how all of the nines have these really, really bright suns in the background. I feel like there's a lot of happiness, a lot of warmth, and a lot of inviting energies going forward between the two of you, right? I feel like the two of you really are best friends. The two of you are partners in crime no matter where you go. Even when times are really tough, the two of you still persevere, which is actually why we have the Nine of Wands. It's talking about the storm clouds are finally clearing and you can see things, and you can see the way that you persevered. You can see the way that you held on and that you didn't give up, that you are someone who just kept pushing forward even when the chips looked down. And I feel like that's the energy that they really appreciate about the relationship, is that when things are a little bit tougher, you're not someone who is just going to throw in the towel. If I could quote Frozen 2, it's a lot like, my love isn't fragile. This is someone who is very patient. Again, it's that energy of, I'll wait for you. Do you want me to wait for you? Do you want me to take time for you? If one of you isn't ready when the other one is, I feel like they will definitely wait for you. If you're not ready for them, they're going to wait for you for sure, because they feel divinely guided to you. They feel like their angels and their spirit guides brought you into their life. They feel divinely guided and divinely blessed, right? I guess would be the best way to put it, because especially with the Nine of Cups, this is the happily ever after card. Nines can also be wish fulfillments. So we have two cards that are very much talking about, abundance, and abundance in not only money, and abundance in success and time with the person that you love, but also abundance in love, abundance in emotion, abundance in feelings. Notice how we have all of these eights here on their side as well, this infinity symbol. So it very much makes me feel like the two of you are very dedicated and determined and courageous, but at the same time, the love for each other never really ends. It only ever keeps feeding back to one another over and over and over again. I feel like the energy that you put towards them is the energy that you're going to get back to, and it's because they mirror you. I feel like they're very in tune with you. They're very connected to your emotions, so they can pick up very easily, maybe if you're having a bad day or if you're feeling a little bit unbalanced, right? So make sure that you're staying in that very good energy and very lighthearted, fun-loving energy, optimistic energy, right? Now with the kind of Nine of Pentacles here, I'm very much being drawn to the fact that we have a crow and a wolf, and that makes me think that your future partner is coming forward and saying, hey, we're still going to be two completely separate people, even though we are a partnership, even though we are literally the dynamic duo, right? We're still going to be very separate. We're still going to be able to be told apart from each other, right? Which is something that maybe they've struggled with in past relationships, as having their own identity still. Is still pursuing their own passions and their hobbies, and maybe even spending time with their friends. Maybe they really, really do need time alone with their friends in order to flourish and in order to have a clear state of mind, right? And we actually have the Tower. I feel like with the Tower, maybe something in the relationship is going to happen. Maybe the two of you are going to come to a better understanding of what it is that you want going forward. Maybe the two of you are even going to kind of close out any negative energies, any negative chapters. The Tower could also be talking about maybe you're going to literally sell your house and move in with this person. So the two of you are moving into a new situation. You're going into a new chapter, into a new cycle. So it can feel very scary. You're having to start over brand new. You're starting to have to kind of start over fresh, right? And maybe for one of you, in terms of this relationship, maybe you're a little bit nervous that this is going to happen. Maybe even your future partner is a little bit nervous that one day you're going to say, okay, Jim, I haven't been happy these last 3 years. I'm going to go. I'm sorry. Bye. And maybe that was something that they just couldn't really bear the thought of. Maybe that's something that's really going to keep them up at night. But I feel like you're kind of their security blanket. I feel like you give them a lot of happiness. You give them a lot of strength and a lot of comfort going forward. I feel like they get tongue-tied around you as well with the Tower. I feel like you come into their energy space and they get shook up. And normally they're very analytical. They're very kind of cool and calm and collected, but with you it's very much like a hurricane. It's this energy and this bewilderment and what should I say and how should I say it, and maybe that's something they're really going to kind of beat themselves up about after you leave. Maybe if they have a date at their house or they take you out to the movies, and then after they drop you off, they're going to leave and they're going to like roll their eyes at themselves and be like, really, Devin? Really? Oh my gosh, why would you say that to them? But I feel like they're just going to feel very awkward around you as well with the Tower card. Now, with the World, I feel like they see you as someone who, they can close their chapter with, that they can literally have that happily ever after with, that they can settle down with for the rest of forever. Maybe they're looking for someone to plant their roots with, and settle their roots down into the earth with. Now, with the Seven of Chalices, I feel like they're very much saying, I feel like we both have a lot of options going forward, but with the Nine of Cups, it's like, there's only one really good option, and it's this heart. I feel like you're the good option. Maybe they're even looking around for a while, and maybe that's even the Tower moment, is deciding, wow, I don't want these other things. Them actually realizing what they do want out of a relationship, and it's you, it's what you can provide. And maybe you're even going to have that realization moment. Maybe you're still kind of looking around and being like, yeah, I'm gonna look around for maybe a month more and see, maybe Jeremy really isn't it. And then at the end of that time, you're like, wow, all these other people are scrubs. I really, really like Jeremy, and I really miss them. Maybe the two of you start off as friends, and it's a very slow burn, and that's why we have the Tower, is because one day it just shifts. One day it's a complete change. You can't stop thinking about them. One day you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I wouldn't mind waking up with them. I wouldn't mind holding their hand or smooching them, So I feel like there's just going to, out of nowhere, be all this loving energy where there once was all of these options. It's going to be, well, I feel very secure and I feel very happy. And also in terms of the relationship, I feel like the two of you don't keep each other limited. I feel like the two of you always keep each other open, especially in regards to opportunities and maybe even scenarios, going towards fresh new opportunities together. So going on to your next few cards, these are your Glow Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what your future partner thinks of you. So we have the Eight of Swords, the Four of Chalices again. Oh my goodness, I love that they have the Four of Chalices as how they would describe themselves, and now also the Four of Chalices as how they would describe you. We also have the Queen of Swords, the Two of Wands in reverse, the Nine of Swords in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. Okay, woohoo! So right off the bat, they see you as someone who maybe overanalyzes and overthinks things just as much as them. They see you as someone who maybe can even be a little bit trapped in their thoughts from time to time with this Eight of Swords, but you have all of the resources to be able to get out of that. They see you as someone who is incredibly capable, someone who is incredibly strong at the same time, especially with this Queen of Swords. They're like, you have the sword to be able to cut yourself out. Maybe they see you as someone who is kind of limiting yourself from time to time because of past regrets or maybe past hurts, maybe even past disappointments. Maybe you're someone who is a little bit too hard on themselves as well, which is why you mirror your future partner so much. But regardless, I feel like you're someone who is really going to step into your power, and they're going to notice that. Even if you've already been in your power, maybe there's still going to be something that's kind of holding you back. And after a while, you're getting into that Shawn Mendes kind of energy, right? There's nothing holding me back. And that's why we actually have the Nine of Swords in reverse. You're finally sleeping at night. You're finally, kind of not having anxiety or having worry. Maybe they even see the relationship as bringing you a little bit more of comfort and clarity going forward as well. Now, for the majority of you as well that pick this pile, I feel like this is your future partner saying, you bring me a lot of clarity, you bring me a lot of comfort and a lot more sleep at night. Maybe this is someone who struggled to get the sleep. Maybe this is someone who even struggled with nightmares in the past, but you're very comforting and you're very nurturing about it. Maybe they'll even come to you and tell you about their nightmares. Even if this is someone who looks very serious or looks very tough, I feel like they're going to surprise you and be like, look, I had a really bad dream and I'd really like to talk about it, right? Now, with the Four of Chalices, they see you as someone who is just as picky as them about relationships, and they really like that. They like that you're not just someone who is going to be with anyone that asks them out. They like that you're someone who has morals and that you have standards for yourself. They love that you're someone who stands by your beliefs and your morals at the same time. Maybe you have certain political views, maybe you have religious leanings, but regardless, you're someone who always stands by them, even when the going gets tough, and that's something they really, really love about you. Even if someone were to come into your life, if they didn't fit what would match your lifestyle, or if if they didn't kind of have an energy that would serve you or serve the relationship in a healthy, conductive way, you're someone who is going to say no. You're someone who would just be like, yeah, thank you, Todd, but no thanks, right? And that's something they really, really love. Now, with the Two of Wands in reverse, they don't see you as someone who is still planning. They see you as someone who knows what they want going forward. They see you as someone who has already made their mind up. Notice how we have a Queen, a Knight, and a King. So we don't have any pages. We don't have any kind of a lower court cards, right? But there's also a lot of change here with these court cards showing up. So they see you as someone who has been through a lot of trials and tribulations, who has been through a lot of like endings of cycles and renewals. Now, with the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Cups, this is someone who wants to give you their time. This is someone who wants to maybe even give you an engagement ring. Maybe they want to maybe even gift you just a really nice present. But this is someone who wants to give to you. They're very generous. They also see you as someone who is very generous and someone who is incredibly goal-oriented, someone who is always making steps towards their goals and always making progress towards their goals as well. With this kind of Knight that's extending its pentacle, I feel like they also see you as someone who is very generous with their time, someone who maybe extends their time to their friends and family members and says, hey, if you ever need me, feel free to call me. Maybe they love that you're dependable and that you're someone that they can rely on. Maybe they've never been in a relationship where they can rely on their partner as much as they can rely on you, right? Now, we also have the King of Cups, and this is a really awesome card. They're talking about emotional maturity. You're someone who knows, again, what you want out of a relationship. You're someone who can feel your emotions very deeply, but in a very mature way. You're not someone who is going to be passive aggressive. You're not someone who is going to be like, yeah, I'm okay, and then secretly not be okay and and just kind of give people the cold shoulder. You're very open about your emotions and open about your feelings, and that's something they really, really love and admire about you. They think that is so neat. So going on to your last few cards, these are going to be your Enchanted Tarot cards before we get on to these descriptor cards, and these are going to be closing messages in regards to what your future partner thinks about you or wants you to know in closing. So we have the Sun card, woohoo, followed by the Two of Hearts, the Queen of Wands, the Judgment card, and the Fool. Okay, so these are really awesome cards. Oh my goodness. So the Sun right off the bat, this is literally an omen of happiness. It's a really, really bright, oh my goodness. And you had all of those Sun cards in the back here. You had 3 suns. So maybe some of you are going to be meeting your future partner in summertime, in the summertime when the weather is hot. Ba, 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 ba. It's almost like everywhere you go, you want everyone to feel content, understood, and just very happy, right? So with the Queen of Wands and the Judgment card as well, it's very much saying continue to follow your passions, continue to follow the things that make your heart soar and that make you very excited. Maybe they even feel like the two of you knew each other in a past life. Maybe for some of you that picked this pile, you knew this person as a child growing up and you're just meeting them again as an adult. Maybe for some of you, this is an ex that's showing up again in your life to have a brand new union with you, and that's why we even have the card, which is talking about brand new adventures, brand new journeys, and brand new relationships. But with the Judgment card as well, I feel like it's very much saying, I'm ready to love again. I'm ready to put myself out there again, and I hope that you're ready to love again. I hope that you are ready to bring me into your life with open arms. This could also be talking about pray to your angels, and your angels are going to bring this person into your life a lot faster. Now, with the Fool card, this is saying always focus on the joy of a journey or an event or of a situation. Even in the present moment, have fun, smile, make sure that you're laughing, and make sure that you're enjoying the people that you are around, right? So going on to your homemade descriptor cards, these are going to be talking about traits, qualities, characteristics, or just kind of adjectives on what this person might look like. So going forward, we have selfless. This is someone who is incredibly selfless. They will put themselves on the back burner for other people. I feel like they have a very good sense of humor as well, so they know how to get out of a very bad situation just through their humor and through a very good joke. So we also have outspoken. I feel like this is someone who will definitely stand up for themselves going forward and someone who knows how to kind of get across their thoughts and their feelings, especially in terms of a relationship. I feel like maybe they've always wanted to be outspoken, but that's something that just never was able to happen. We also have pessimist. So maybe for some of you that picked this stack, maybe your future partner is a pessimist. Maybe they can tend to be like, ugh, I knew that was going to happen, or I knew this job wasn't going to, maybe that's the energy energy that they had to get over. Because remember how we had that card of nothing was wasted? Maybe they had a relationship in the past that maybe made them feel like, I'm never going to be in love again. I'm never going to give love another try. I'm never going to try to date someone. And now they're finding that they do want to date someone. They're finding that they do want to kind of take a chance on love again. And maybe that's even changing. Now, we also have tidy. I feel like this is someone who is incredibly organized. Everything in their apartment has a place and has a home. We also have whimsical. Woohoo! So this is someone who is incredibly magical. They're very fun-loving, very charming at the same time. With whimsical, I feel like they're always daydreaming. They're always kind of going with the flow, especially with that kind of, I was going to say mermaid energy, manatee energy. This is why sailors back in the day were like, oh, wow, they're mermaids, because they just got the names mixed up. Anyway, but we got bookworm as well. This is, again, someone who would love to read your favorite book. This is someone who is incredibly intelligent, very well read at the same time. So they're very, very open to the idea of maybe starting a book club with you. We also have auburn hair. Woohoo! So this is someone who might have a little bit of darker kind of hair with maybe orange or red highlights in it. I feel like when the sun hits it, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's brilliant and vibrant. For some of you, they might also have kind of darkish brown hair, maybe even a little bit of a goatee. Maybe for some facial hair as well, maybe they have like kind of red or orange or maybe even dark brown. But I feel like for the most part, the people that pick this pile, this is someone who maybe even they henna their hair. Maybe this is someone who dyes their hair to achieve that look. We also have reserved. Again, this is someone who can be a little bit cold. They can be a little bit kind of to themselves, a little bit shy, maybe even a little bit kind of hermit crab energy, if you will. We also have intuitive. They're very, very spiritual. They always trust their intuition. I feel like the times that they haven't trusted their intuition, that has gotten them into a lot of trouble, right? So we also have understanding. They're incredibly understanding. They're compassionate as well. Bald / shaved hair. Okay, so for some of you, they're going to have long, kind of medium length auburn hair, I feel like, and for others, it's going to be bald / shaved. This could be kind of a buzz cut, and it could even be that you see a little bit of their kind of auburn hair kind of shining through as well. But regardless, I feel like for some of you, they are going to be bald / have a shaved head. We also have sentimental. I feel like they're incredibly sentimental. This is someone who's sensitive. This is someone who is going to maybe even make you a lot of homemade gifts. This is someone who's going to remember what gifts you want throughout the year when you say, hey, I want this and I want that, right? They're very, very good with remembering those sorts of things. We also have cold, so I guess that would be a kind of a good way to describe them, since we did have the King of Swords showing up and the Emperor. Both of these cards are very strong-willed. They know their worth and they know what they want, so they can come off a little bit cold. We also have short hair, so it could even be that some of you are with someone who has shortish hair, or maybe even short hair in regards to like it being a little bit shaved. We also have introverts, so I feel like maybe they see themselves as an introvert. Maybe this is someone who is a little bit extroverted from time to time as well, but they themselves consider themselves an introvert. Now, with this card, I feel like they're happiest when they're by themselves. They're happiest when they're in their independence, and they're happiest when they're traveling, when they're at home, or when they're just kind of out discovering by themselves, right? We also have optimists. So, oh my goodness, there we go. So with pessimistic and with optimist, I feel like they're a realist. I feel like this is someone who is starting to look on the real side of life. This isn't someone who is seeing things as overly good or overly bad. They're seeing things as very much in the middle, right? But it could also be that they're getting rid of their pessimistic qualities and kind of putting more optimistic qualities over them. And that's something you're really going to love about them. Very forgetful as well, but I feel like it's more like their keys, their cell phone, if they have a vape. It's just different things along those lines. This is someone who kind of tends to forget. They'd probably forget themselves if it wasn't attached to them. I feel like they'd probably say to you, and maybe you're someone who was always like, oh babe, don't forget your keys today, or don't forget to do this, or don't forget to do that. And they're really going to love that you remember those things. They're really going to love that you remind them. We also have magical. So again, I feel like this is someone who can turn a bad situation into something amazing. Someone who can turn a lump of coal into a diamond, right? Just based off of intention and based off of their own magic. We also have dress dresses very well. I feel like this is someone who's very well put together, someone who smells very good too, very tough/resilient, someone who can persevere and go out of their way for their own goals and for their own achievements. We also have red hair. Oh my goodness. So I love that we have auburn to go with the red hair. So it's definitely saying there are streaks of like red in there. We also have taller than average closing us out as your last card. So that is really, really awesome. Oh my goodness. This might be someone who is taller than you would traditionally date. This might even be someone who is taller than their traditional gender kind of says that they should be. But regardless, I feel like you're really going to love their height. I feel like that's something you're really going to enjoy about them. Maybe you're not used to dating people who are taller than you. Maybe you're not used to, even just dating someone who is going to be this tall, right? But regardless, I feel like it's something you're really going to love about them. I feel like they have a really incredible smile too. Something about their smile, it lights up their eyes in such a brilliant way. And it's almost like their smile travels into their eyes. And it's something that people pick up on very, very fast. Thank you so much for watching this video though. I had so much fun reading for you and I hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure to leave a like down below and a comment as well, as I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day every day. Also make sure to hit subscribe and also the notification bell if you have not already to be notified every time that I post a brand new reading. But yeah, I hope that you will also check out my website DarlingDTarot.com for 10% off all of my readings. We are having a grand opening sale for having a brand new website, so I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So definitely check that out and maybe get a personal reading with me, right? Also, I have my Etsy in the description box down below and all of my other links. So yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 2. Let's get right into your reading and see who is your future partner. So right off the bat, with you picking the key, I feel like you are going to come into this person's life and they're going to feel like you unlock something that's been hidden away for a long time. It's almost like you ignite these fires, this passion from under them, and you make them feel excited about every single day. You make them feel excited about what's coming around the corner, what's going to happen next. It's almost like they're in suspense every single second, but they love it. You know, it's so exciting and it's so adventurous. Maybe they want to go on a bunch of adventures with you, and maybe that's something that you guys are going to do together. Maybe you guys are literally going to buy a house together, and maybe it's going to be a very exciting opportunity. It's going to be a very exciting time in general. Maybe they're going to be buying a house by the time you guys get together, and maybe you guys are just going to like have a very smooth transition. But regardless, definitely with the key, I feel like you two are bringing in, you guys' love and you guys' acceptance. And it's very much unlocking this layer of authenticity and being genuine with one another. Maybe even being able to have heart-to-heart talks with one another. So going forward onto your first 2 cards, these are your angel therapy cards. And they are talking about kind of things that you have to know in regards to your future partner. So we have you asked your angels for help with this, and Archangel Raphael. Okay, so right off the bat, with have you asked your angels for help with this, I feel like some of you are trying to use the law of attraction to bring in a good partner or someone who is very worthy of your time, right? Because you're someone who needs to know your worth. You're someone who is incredible. You're intelligent. You are someone who is just absolutely brilliant. You're all that in a bag of chips, right? Like, let's be completely honest. And your spirit guides are saying, hey, maybe you're overburdening yourself with this. Maybe you're stressing yourself out a little bit too much. Ask for our help. Ask for our guidance, because we will step in and we will guide you to this future partner. We will guide you to the right person. Maybe right now you're just kind of going around and you're attracting people that you're gaining lessons from. You're attracting people that you are maybe evolving and you're leveling up from. Not people that are traditionally going to be like, who you're going to live with, who you're going to marry, who you're going to settle down with. But I definitely feel like, you've had people in your life that have just been there for lessons, that have kind of opened you up to know your worth and know your true value. But it says your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. It's almost like like a parent who's like, yeah, but honey, if you just add a little less salt to your dish, but like a little less salt, and you're there like, I know how to cook. I've been cooking 23 years. I know, and your mom's just sort of like, well, I mean, a little bit less salt. And then it happens one day. You make for like a big dinner party and there's way too much salt, and you're like, and you're like, they should have intervened. They should have slapped the salt from out of my hand and I would have learned my lesson, right? But that's very much how your angels feel, is that like, you are an adult. You're someone who can take care of themselves. You're someone who can conduct yourselves, and someone who can be the master of your own destiny and your own fate. Why should they intervene with that if you're not actively asking them for help or actively asking them to intervene, right? But with this card as well, I'm very much being drawn to all of the pinks, the reds, and the oranges with all of the purples and blues. It's saying to integrate your divine masculine and your divine feminine together during this time, to be very much in equilibrium with yourself, to be in balance. And that's how you're going to bring this person into your life a lot faster. That's how you're going to harness the law of attraction in order to bring this person in. But make sure that you're asking your angels for help, and more specifically, Archangel Raphael. I feel like he works with your future partner, and I feel like he also works with you. So if you haven't worked with him already, he is an amazing, amazing archangel to work with. He offers healing, he offers protection, and he offers love advice as well. Love healing, heart healing. He's dressed in all green here. So he's someone who is abundant in love. He is someone who is healing heart chakras. And maybe that's also something, oh my goodness, look at that. Do you see how she's like capturing this ball of light, and he's like, ooh, he's like literally giving her all that energy, and she's just grabbing it up, right? It's like when someone blows you a kiss and you take it away. Archangel Raphael is saying, hey, as long as you're asking for my blessing, you have it. Take it. My love and acceptance. Archangel Raphael is just probably like, to be honest, with this energy, he's very, very loving. He's someone who wants to guide you to the perfect relationship. He wants to guide you to your forever partner, right? But he wants to make sure that you're on board for it as well, that you're to maybe even a level in your life where you can bring another partner in. Are you someone who has achieved your successes? Are you someone who feels happy with where you are? Do you feel like you could be the perfect partner in order to bring in the perfect partner? Do you feel like you've fully discovered yourself and unwrapped yourself? Because honestly, if we're to look at this card, it looks like this girl is kind of like inside of a big sheet, and she's slowly emerging from it like a hermit crab that has outgrown its shell, right? And she's slowly emerging. But it's also saying, have you discovered every aspect of yourself? Because that's going to be very important when you get into this relationship, is that you know yourself inside and out, because you're going to be given the key to know this next person inside and out. It's not just going to be yourself that you're going to have all this knowledge on. It's also going to be your future partner, and I feel like your future partner is someone who literally is taking the time to discover themselves and discover what it is that they want going forward, and what it is that they've learned from past relationships and past experiences as well. So going back to Archangel Raphael, it says the healing angel is with you, supporting your healing work. And I feel like for a lot of you that picked this pile, maybe your future partner is someone who works in healthcare. Maybe there's someone who is a CNA, or someone who might even be a nurse or a doctor. Regardless, they love helping people. I feel like this is someone who might even help people across the street, like little old ladies, right? Maybe just an everyday vigilante, going out and a kid can't get its snacks out of the vending machine, so they put in an extra quarter for them. It's just, there's someone who goes above and beyond for others. They're very giving, they're very compassionate, and very generous. And I feel like that's something you're really going to love about them. Now, with this energy as well, I feel like there's someone who, in their day-to-day life, they're practicing healing themselves. They're practicing working on their emotions and practicing, kind of harness their negative emotions in a very conductive way, if that makes sense. They're learning how to transmutate one energy into something completely different. It's almost like they're taking the negative and they're turning it into positive. They're taking heartbreak and they're turning into money manifestation. They're turning it into success. They're turning it into happiness. And I feel like they're really learning how to become the best version of themselves possible. Notice how Archangel Raphael's wings are kind of behind him too. It makes me feel like this person is in that energy of, there's no nothing holding me back, right? So they're very much going forward. Even with this angel, her wings are outstretched on her sides. You know, she's not, although she's kind of emerging and she's still in this cocoon, she's still very open. You know, the body language is incredibly open here. So make sure that you're open as well to receiving blessings from your angels, because they're going to help you to get closer to this person, to kind of be aligned with this person as well. So going forward onto your next 3 cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits of your future partner. So we have blue heron, gorilla, and snow leopard. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome energies. Gorilla right off the bat is someone who is incredibly compassionate. They love their family. They're incredibly family oriented, right? Maybe this is someone who loves the holidays. They just love getting together with their loved ones. And it says, take the time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially your family members. So I feel like they're always a listening ear. This is someone who is always a captive audience with you. They're never going to let you down in that regard. They're never going to drop the ball when it comes to listening. You could call them at any time of the night and they're always going to answer for you. And I feel like they're going to be very receptive to everything that you have to say as well, because they have been through so many trials and tribulations. They have been through so many different cycles that, you know, now they just kind of roll with the punches. They go along with it. They go with the flow. And I feel like this is someone who doesn't mind what the outcome is anymore. You know, this is someone who just goes into every situation kind of hoping for the best, right? And going into it flying blind, and they always come out on top. You know, when they set their expectations, maybe even low, you know, maybe they don't even set their expectations at all. They just go in, they achieve, and they think, okay, well, I'll get paid eventually. And then when they get their paycheck, you know, maybe even $100 is incredible to this person, you know? I think it's all about perspective too. I feel like this person has a lot of very solid people around them. And it's solid in a way that I mean, like, they have a very balanced family group. You know, maybe they even have a very balanced friend group, right? But it keeps them in a very good foundation. It keeps them right in place. It keeps them going forward. But it makes them grounded. I feel like the people that they surround themselves with help ground them and help support them in achieving their endeavors. Now, with snow leopard, it says, take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude. I love that both of these are talking about taking time. Maybe this is someone who is constantly on the go, constantly working, constantly doing things, and their spirit guides are saying, hey, it's okay to take time out to be able to go towards your own hobbies, to go towards things that just uplift your soul, to make you feel inspired again to go towards your career. It's okay to focus on love. It's okay to focus on your family members. Maybe this is someone from time to time when they're in a very work-oriented energy that they can tend to recluse themselves. Maybe this is someone who can tend to, you know, kind of pull away from their friends and family members, but I feel like they're always there at the end of the day. Like, if they got a call, they would drop everything and answer and be like, yes, Denise, what did you need? You know, like, they're very, very on top of it. But maybe that's even why their spirit guides are coming forward and saying, like, you need some time out of your schedule to be by yourself. You know, you need some boundaries, you know, and telling people, hey, well, not now, not today, not this weekend. I'm going to just watch Netflix. I'm going to be doing this and that. You know, maybe this is someone who is incredibly selfless. Maybe this is someone who tends to put a lot of other people before themselves. Maybe they've given out, you know, and not like literally given out their key to a bunch of people, like, oh, here, Cheryl, here, Rebecca, here. You know, I feel like it's more of they have given the key to their heart away a lot of times, you know, maybe even maybe 4 times for a few people, you know, maybe a few like really significant times is what I'm saying, you know, as opposed to just willy-nilly, like, here you go, I love you. I feel like this is someone who is very analytical about it, but when they have given their heart away, you know, they've trusted in this situation, and maybe it hasn't gone to the way that they've planned. You know, maybe they have set their expectations way too high in the past, and people have been like, hey, that's a little bit too much baggage for me. You know, you got to work on this, or, you know, that's too high of expectations. You know, I really appreciate that you're trusting me with this opportunity and that you believe in me that much, but I just don't think that I'm the right person for you in that regard. And maybe that was really hard for them to hear, you know. So maybe it was easier for them to then focus on just family members and focus on career. Maybe that's why we have take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude, because maybe it's saying regroup, regroup towards love as well. Heal your heart chakra, heal all of the disappointments that might have happened in regards to love, so that you can go towards someone who is a little bit more of a healthy fit. And that's where your future partner is. But again, I feel like they're really generous. I feel like this is someone who maybe their kindness in the past has been mistaken for weakness, and people have kind of taken advantage of them. Now, going forward, I feel like there's someone who is very, very independent, someone who can stand their own ground, and someone who can speak up for themselves, right? But at the same time, they have to be willing to say no to people. They have to be willing to say, hey, I need a weekend off, right? And that actually leads us into Blue Heron, because it says, make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. And that's something that they really had to work on, because maybe they put a lot of stock in what people thought about them for the longest time. Maybe they were genuinely concerned, what Cheryl in accounting thought. Maybe they really were like, oh my goodness, do they like me? Do they not like me? Maybe they always went above and beyond to prove to people that they are a good person, or that they are this, or they are a hard worker. And after a while, they just sort of realized, wait, who am I proving myself to? Why do I feel the need to do this? Why am I feeling compelled to show people that I'm a good person and that I have value when I am someone who is valuable, right? And maybe it was really hard for them to be able to stick up for themselves as well. In regards to saying, hey, I need a weekend to myself. I need a weekend where I'm putting myself in number one priority as opposed to everyone else, right? Maybe this is someone who has a lot of responsibilities in regards to their family. Maybe they take care of their parents. Maybe they take care of their nephew and niece. Maybe they take care of their siblings. But I definitely feel like there is some sort of an energy here of someone who is very overburdened. Someone who, maybe that's why they have so much healing energy around them, is because they do look after everyone. They are someone who is constantly working and maybe even burning themselves out. If they're a CNA, I feel like maybe this is someone who works night shifts. Maybe this is someone who is just constantly working and they're running themselves ragged, right? And maybe that's an energy that you're going to bring into their life is, hey, let's take a nap. Let's take some rest. Let's have a nice meal. Let's have a night out. And maybe even telling them, you don't have to go out all the time. You don't have to be hanging out with your friends all the time. You can have time by yourself. You don't even have to be hanging out with me all the time. I feel like you're going to be telling them, right? But I feel like there's going to be such a healthy connection here where you guys aren't expecting too much of each other. There aren't these high expectations going into this relationship, and that's going to be a breath of fresh air. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are talking about what energies this person is bringing into your life overall. So we have number 13, Bloom, number 39, Waiting, number 26, Acknowledgement. Oh my gosh. And number 32, The Key. You can't make that up. Oh my gosh. I love it. So starting off with number 32, The Key, because I feel like it's incredibly fitting. It says mystery, moving forward, and knowledge. So I feel like this is someone who you're definitely going to feel like you can move forward with. Look, you have the key to their heart around your neck, and they're very comfortable with it. They don't feel scared about it. They don't feel like they should run off, because deer are very, very jittery. They're very like, oh, I can't be here. I gotta go fast. And I feel like that's their energy in the past, but you calm them down. You're healing to them. Even though they're usually healing to other people, you are the first person that they've found in their life that has actually calmed them down, that has made them want to stay, right? Now with moving forward, I feel like they're not going to feel scared about moving forward with you. If this was someone who might have had commitment issues in the past, this is something that they're not going to struggle with moving forward. They're going to accept change very graciously. With the number 32 here, this would be the number 5. They want to evolve with you. They want to grow with you. They want to keep things going forward. They don't want things to be stagnant. They don't want things to get stale either, right? Because with it being a key, keys can look very vintage. They can look very old and antique, but there's also, kind of a brilliance about them at the same time. There's something timeless, and that's what they want the relationship to be with you. They want it to be very timeless. They want it to be where neither of you get bored, neither of you feel, like there's too many burdens either. You know, they want it to be very light and happy and kind of carefree, right? But at the same time, there's this knowledge between the two of you of, yes, this is very serious. We're taking this to the next level. We're going to move in together. We're going to get married. We're going to do all of this, right? And it's very, very, very 50-50. You know, I feel like the two of you are based on reciprocity. The two of you don't want to get into a relationship that isn't going to be based on that, right? And I feel like there's going to be knowledge of what your boundaries are going forward, and it's going to be very respected. They're not going to move at a faster rate than what you feel comfortable with, right? Which is why we actually have this waiting card. The number 39 would be the number 12, which would be the number 3. This is talking about coming into harmony with yourself, coming into harmony with the mind, the body, and the spirit, so that they can all kind of work together to make these wonderful decisions, to feel comfortable in taking that next step and moving forward, right? Because moving forward and implementing change can feel very scary. It can feel very nerve-wracking, especially when going into the unknown with another person. You know, you're just starting to get to know them. You know, even though the two of you are very similar, there's a lot of differences between the two of you. I was gonna say differentiaries, but I knew that wasn't a word, and I was like, why is this working? I don't know. I just felt like I'd say that. So between the two of you, you know, one of you maybe has like a little bit thinner of a face, and this one's a little bit wider. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are very similar, but there's still ways that you can tell each other apart. You know, there's still ways that make you unique and still make you you. And I feel like there's not going to be boundaries stepped where either one of you is like, well, you got to change to be able to live with me, or, well, this is a fabuloso only house, or, well, I only use Clorox when I clean. Like, they're going to definitely bend, you know, to this relationship. They're going to be very interested in cooperating with you and kind of coming to a compromise. I feel like coming to a compromise is always something that they're willing to do, right? And they're very willing to wait for you. Now, with the number 3 again, I feel like they're kind of coming into your life as someone who is very balanced in regards to their head, you know, their intellect, their heart, their emotions, and then their spiritual side. You know, I feel like this is someone who has finally been able to weave them all together so that they can feel comfortable with kind of settling down, right? Now, with waiting, it says alertness, preparation, and watchfulness. So I feel like this is someone who is going to be very, very prepared to settle down with you. You know, maybe they already have a house, maybe they're moving into one, maybe you guys are going to look at one, but there is going to be this kind of energy of waiting for the other person to be ready, waiting for the relationship to get to that level. I think that they're going to be ready the moment that they meet you, you know, and I don't want to sound corny or cliche or cheesy, but I feel like when you guys eventually settle down, whether that be through a traditional marriage, through a hand fasting, through maybe just a little elopement, or a little just ceremony, a love ceremony, I really feel like the two of you are going to have some form of communication or some form of vows where they literally tell you, like, I've loved you from the moment that I met you, from the moment that I laid eyes on you. I knew you were the person that I was going to end up with. And notice how we have 2 owls here. Well, actually 3, to be honest, but this is very much talking about I always knew spiritually, you know, that you were the person that I was supposed to be with, that you were the person that I was going to settle down with, that I was maybe going to adopt a bunch of animals with, that I was going to travel the world with. You know, and I feel like they're going to be very forthcoming about that. And maybe even with watchfulness, maybe they're going to watch you for a while. Maybe even when you guys are first starting to talk, they're constantly on your social media. They're constantly watching your Snapchat. They're watching your Facebook. They're watching your Instagram. They're like, ooh, what is their next move going to be, right? But they're very intent on knowing what your next step is, what your next plan is going forward as well. And they're very prepared for it. I feel like this is someone who prides themselves on preparation and the fact that they're very resourceful. This might even be the mom or dad friend that carries bandages around with them. They carry water. They carry around water. They carry around snacks as well. This is someone who is just very, very prepared. Now, with acknowledgement, with the number 26, this would be the number 8. They feel very determined to maybe speed things up. You know, this is a very fast-moving energy because this is talking about never-ending love. and a love that they feel will be infinite, because I think of the infinity sign as well when I think of the number 8, and that's really interesting. Those of you that picked stack 2, you might feel very drawn to pile 1 as well, just because there is a lot of 8 imagery, although I do feel like there is a little bit of differing energies between the 2 piles. But again, this is someone who is incredibly spiritual. This is someone who has that inner knowing and has that acceptance of, this is the person that I'm supposed to be with, and maybe that acceptance even kind of travels onto you. Maybe you have this inner knowingness and inner kind of acceptance that this is this person that you're going to settle down with, right? But you definitely see things accurately and see things the way that they're supposed to be. Now, with number 13, Bloom, it says recognition, acknowledgement, and being seen. So you're definitely going to feel seen by this person. You're going to feel excited around this person, happy, joyous, like everything is just perfect the way that it's supposed to be, right? And especially with all of these flowers around her, I feel like she's coming into her own. She's coming into her power. She feels confident. She feels loved. She feels worthy, and she feels like she's finally getting the love that she deserves, right? And not just the love that she desires. And I feel like that's incredibly important to those who pick this stack. Make sure that you are getting the love that you deserve and not the love that you're just constantly like daydreaming about and saying, oh my goodness, if only I could have this person, if only I could have a love like this. You can. You are someone who is very capable of having a very healthy relationship, right? You are someone who is beautiful, whether you are male or female. You are just absolutely incredible. You are unique. You are an inspiration to everyone that you meet as well. I feel like those that pick this stack, you are an inspiration to your future partner. You are someone who inspires them to be a better person every single day. And that's even why we have the Bloom card. It's them acknowledging, yeah, you make me step into being the best version of myself. Now, with the number 13, that would be the number 4, and it's also talking about firm foundations and really having those firm foundations with you. They want to settle down. I keep saying that over and over again. So maybe that's even what the key is kind of signifying is, we've kind of made it. We've made it to where we're supposed to be. Let's move into our house and end the cycle, right? Now, with recognition, I feel like this person is going to boast about you to a lot of people. They're going to constantly be talking about you to their friends and family, and I feel like in a very positive, beautiful light. You don't have to worry about this person ever bad talking you or ever saying anything less than nice, right? This is someone who always has wonderful words to say about you. This is someone who is very good at communicating at the same time. But at the same time, I feel like maybe there's someone who might just text you for a while. Maybe you guys have a very slow romance at first. For those of you that might meet online or might meet through maybe Facebook or maybe meet through an app, I feel like you guys are going to talk for a while and then you're going to meet, right? If you haven't met this person already. But I just wanted to say that for a while because we have being seen. It made me think of like Facebook Messenger and like someone's message being seen and then you kind of side-eyeing it and being like, I see. You saw my message, but you never replied, right? So maybe for some of you, that's the energy of this person is that they'll leave you unread for a little bit, but it's only so that they can focus on their career or so that they can focus on a really good reply to you. This might be the type of person who wants to write back to you more than what you originally wrote to them, right? And that's something that you're really going to love is the long conversations, even through text messages that you and this person have. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your animal spirit guides cards, and these are talking about messages from their higher self to you. So we have number 33, horse spirit, number 66, white raven spirit. I love that we have so many kind of duplicate numbers. We also have number 19, dog spirit. Woohoo! So right off the bat with number 33, this would be the number 6 again, talking about abundance, abundance and happiness, friendship, love, family, really anything across the board, even money, career opportunities. This is someone who is just incredibly abundant, and they're also saying that they see that in you. They see you as their equal in that regard, and they see you as someone who is just as career oriented as them. And that's something that they really love. It's something that they really appreciate about you. But they also want to tell you that if you're feeling a little bit unhappy in your job, or when you are together or when you are kind of interacting, freedom is yours. You are someone who has that entrepreneurial energy. You are someone who is very talented. You are someone who could even kind of pursue your hobby as a career, right? Just because I feel like maybe you make aware that other people would really, really love to have. But regardless, I feel like you are someone who is very good at manifesting as well with the number 6. You are very good at bringing abundance into your life. And they're saying like, even in regards to maybe even in regards to relationship. Maybe they're saying, I would never tie you down unwillingly. Freedom is always yours. I'm never going to be that partner who is completely overbearing, because they want you to be happy. They want you to bloom in an environment that is conductive and healthy for you. And if that means without them, then that's just kind of the way that it's supposed to go, right? I feel like they don't overthink things. Notice how with the number 66, this would be the number 3 again. So I love that we're kind of coming full circle here with both of these cards. So when you kind of meet this person, you might be seeing the number 33 or 333 a lot as confirmation, maybe even 66 or 666. Now, don't get scared if you do see the number 666. This isn't a bad number whatsoever. I think that it has a really bad rep, but for the most part, it's just talking about abundance, and it's talking about, having the ability to manifest and having the ability to bring abundance into our life. Do you see how he has these berries right there, even though everything looks sparse and everything looks kind of dried out for the winter, right? Especially with all the blue energy in the background. Well, the caption says, trust in the magic. Trust in the magic of the situation. Trust in the magic of every circumstance going forward as well. And the universe will provide to you. The universe will give you this abundance and this fruition of everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you've put your intentions into, right? So just make sure that you keep believing. And I feel like that's going to bring the two of you together even faster. Maybe they're saying that when you are stepping into this freedom energy, when you are stepping into this go-getter energy and just going forward and having a good time, that's when you're going to meet them. But make sure with all of these pinks as well that you're extending yourself the same courtesies. How we were kind of picking on this person for not taking time for themselves to relax and not taking enough naps during the day, Daniel. It's very much the energy of also saying at the same time, I'm going to hold you to the same expectations. I hope that you will also say no to your friends when you need time to relax. I hope you will also say no to me when you need time to relax. To be very open, to be very compassionate and loving to yourself, just as you are very compassionate, loving, and generous with other people. Maybe that's the other message that they really want to get across, is that they see you as someone who is incredibly generous, just like them. Now, with the White Raven Spirit as well, I feel like they see you as someone who is incredibly pure. Or they're going to when they meet you, right? They see you as someone who is just as magical as they are, someone who is just as spiritual and metaphysical. I feel like this is the type of person who kind of works with the metaphysical very unknowingly, right? I feel like they work with it here and there, but it's more like, a kind of an affirmation here, a prayer there. This isn't someone who's going to have like maybe a full altar in their house. They might, right? But for the most part, I feel like this is someone who just relies on their own intentions and their own resources to carry out their spell work, right? This could also be someone who works with candle magic. I don't know why for some of you it's like there's no magic, and then for some of you it's like, yeah, there's candle magic at least, right? But regardless, trust in the magic of the situation. I feel like for some of you as well, maybe you're the magic one, and that's why we have this Raven Spirit, is they see you as someone who is incredibly unique and authentic, and they want you to see yourself in that same light going forward. Now, with number 19, Dog Spirit, it kind of goes back into that original message that I told you of freedom is yours. If you're doing something that doesn't make you feel satisfied or doesn't make you happy, change things up, right? Go on a new adventure, go on a new journey. And that brings us to Dog Spirit. Be loyal to what you love. What do you love? What do you want your kind of world to have more of in it? What do you want more incorporated into your life? Do you want more love? Do you want more friendship? Do you want more money? Do you want more career opportunities? Do you want to travel? What is it that you want to do going forward? Really hone in on that and be loyal to yourself and be loyal to your own ambitions. Again, it's that pink sort of energy in the horse that's saying extend that same love and compassion to yourself, right? So going on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your animal totem cards, and these are talking about the overall energy of your future partner. If we were to sum them up into 3 cards, what would they be? So we have the King of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Wands. Oh my goodness, I love it. So they could have a lot of air in their chart. So this would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So they could be very spiritual in that regards. If they are an Aquarius, every Aquarius I've ever met has been so spiritual, I swear, and so psychic. They can pick up on anything. Like, oh my goodness, it's incredible. So with the King of Swords, I feel like you're very much someone who is going to see this person as very serious. Maybe even a little bit reserved or a little bit standoffish at first, but it's only because they very much have their eye on the prize. This is someone who can see through people's intentions and see through false masks too. So there's someone who doesn't kind of like when people sugarcoat things. things. You know, this isn't the type of person who, you know, is going to fall for people putting up false facades anymore. Maybe in the past they have, because they have been so generous and so kind, but maybe that's something they've really had to work on, is trusting their intuition and being a very good judge of character, because they are, right? That might be something that intimidates a lot of people, is because maybe they don't like the majority of people like that they work with. I don't want to say they don't like, because I feel like they're a very loving person, but at the same time, I feel like there's people that they're kind of, they side eye, you know, and they're just sort of like, ugh. You know, like, ugh, it's them again, you know? And with the King of Swords, this is someone who is very mysterious. This is someone who isn't going to be open to everyone. This is someone who, you know, when they see those people that they side-eye, they're not going to go out of their way to be like, hey, you know what I did this weekend? They're going to keep quiet. They're going to get back to their cubicle and they're going to do their work. Like, that's it. That's all. End of story. You know, they get their work done and then they go home. They don't kind of sit around and wait to strike up a conversation with everyone that comes their way. Even though they could, because they are an incredible conversationalist. But do you see how he's reaching for his crown as opposed to his sword? I feel like this is very much the energy of saying I'm focusing on my own successes, as opposed to like maybe having really long conversations with other people, or, you know, maybe even having interactions. Maybe this is someone who secludes themselves. Maybe this is someone who's kind of in that hermit energy as well. But I feel like they're not cutthroat. You know, I feel like they don't have the energy of they're constantly on defense and they're constantly looking out and they're constantly like, well, what's going to happen next? You know, this is someone who, even though they are very witty and very calculated, and I don't say that in a bad way, you know, calculate can just mean that they're very intelligent. You know, they know how to plan for the next step, which is very much that preparedness energy. But at the same time, you know, I feel like they have an eagle eye. You know, they have that sort of hindsight vision. They can know what's going to happen before it even happens. They can just kind of pick up on the energy of a situation. So they're not going to kind of spend time in something that's not going to be conductive for them. And maybe that's even why we have this big stressor here, is because, like, I lead my life with this freedom energy, you know, and I want you. Oh my gosh, and it's an eagle. It's an eagle, which is literally freedom. Oh my, America. So with that energy, oh my goodness, it all comes full circle. Make sure that you're being free with yourself, because they're being free with themselves. They're achieving their goals and they're achieving their passions. Now, with the Eight of Pentacles and the Five of Wands, I feel like they can be a little bit defensive when it comes to people kind of prying and asking questions, especially their family members. I don't know why, but I feel like their family members and their coworkers are very interested, especially around the holidays, to be asking like, well, who are you going to be with? Who's coming over? You know, who are you spending your birthday with? And I feel like it's something that really bothers them, you know, and maybe it's because they've been single for a long time and they've heard that question over and over and over again, but there's something about it that just really gets their goat with this Five of Wands. You know, it's kind of like they're not even backed into a corner. They're just kind of peeved at this point. They're just kind of like, I'm just going to attack you just because I'm here, right? But I guess that it's the same energy both ways. If they feel like someone is coming towards them in a very hostile energy, they're going to attack back. It's not even going to be a thought of it. Oh, you know, maybe that's even why he's holding the crown, is like, I'm going to focus on myself and I'm going to focus on my passions and my endeavors. But if you give me a reason to pick up my sword, I'll definitely pick up my sword for you. You know, I'll give you a sword fight. Don't worry about it. You know, I'll be Zorro up in here. And with the King of Swords, this is someone who is very intellectually mature. This is someone who is very, very smart. For some of you, they might even be a teacher if they aren't a doctor. But with the Eight of Pentacles, it's just because they're constantly pushing themselves to that next level. They're constantly maybe opening up a brand new door and closing the last one. They're constantly evolving and constantly growing. You know, they don't like to feel stagnant. They like to be in this constant movement and constant motion, right? So going on to your next two cards are your Ethereal Visions cards. And these are talking about more information on your future partner. So we have the King of Pentacles, the Justice card, the Four of Pentacles, and the Death card. Woohoo! So these are really awesome cards. With the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords, you know, this is someone who is incredibly mature. This is someone who has been through a lot of changes throughout their lifetime as well. They might even have a lot of earth in their chart. It doesn't even have to be their sun, moon, or rising. It could be their Venus. It could be really anything, to be honest. It could be the whole rest of their chart is made up of it. But regardless, you know, this is someone who is very grounded. They're very stable. They're very good with money, and they're very good with time. I feel like this is someone, again, who's going to gift you a lot of their time. They're going to gift you their resources, and they're going to be very generous about everything that they have. Now, with the Four of Pentacles, I'm very much being drawn to saying that this person wasn't very forthcoming in the past with their resources, you know, or with the things that they have. I feel like this is a very generous person, but maybe after a while, you know, maybe after being deceived, maybe after being double-crossed or taken for a ride, you know, they're just sort of like, no, I'll keep this for myself. Thank you, though, Samantha. Thanks. I'll think about it next time, but you know, I'll keep this, right? And you come into their lives, and suddenly they're open to it. You know, suddenly there's this death to the Four of Pentacles where it's like, I want to share my life. I want to share my success. I want to share my money. Can we be a power couple? Can we do this? Can we do that? And they're going to be so excited about meeting someone that mirrors them so much, because I'm very much being drawn to the fact that the King of Pentacles and the Justice card look so much alike. Like, they're both wearing yellow. They're both also wearing red capes. So I feel like the two of you are just going to mirror each other in a lot of different ways. And I feel like it's, you know, maybe in the way that you were treated in the past in regards to relationships. I feel like maybe this person, you know, kind of shut themselves down in regards to relationships. And I don't want to say that in like a bad way, because I feel like they just kind of focused on themselves, which is very, very admirable, right? And that's why they are showing up as the King of Pentacles now. They do have a big pentacle that they can share with you, that they can give to you, so that they feel like it's a fair trade-off. Maybe they're going to feel like, you know, they're really kind of hitting the lottery in regards to having you in their life and having you as their future partner, you know? And that's maybe even how you're feeling. Do you see how we have scales here? So oh my goodness, they could definitely have Libra in their chart. I'm just going to put that out there. So there's someone who's very fair, very balanced, but at the same time, this is someone who knows that they deserve a better relationship than what they've had in the past. This is someone who knows that, you know, they want more, but they also know that they have to open up in order to receive more. So they're going through this transformation. They're going through a really big change in their life in order to bring in a partner, in order to bring someone in that is going to understand them and that is going to love them unconditionally, right? But with death, I feel like it's a very scary time for them. I feel like it's very uncomfortable having to transition into this energy of, you know, maybe taking a fresh new step, you know, starting over with a clean slate. Maybe they're used to kind of relationships in the past where they could just do their own thing as well. You know, and maybe not have to worry for some, for a very, very select few of you. Maybe this is someone who just kind of go off and do their own thing. And now they're realizing, oh, if I want a good relationship, I actually have to talk to people, right? I can't just ghost people all the time and have a relationship magically work, right? But with the Death card, they're actively making changes and they're actively transforming their life into something beautiful. So going forward onto your next few cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards. And these are talking about what the relationship is like between you guys. So we have the Five of Swords, the 10 of Wands, the King of Wands, the Hierophant. Oh my goodness, and it has a key. How awesome. The Emperor, which the Hierophant usually does. He is the keeper of the keys. And we also have the Two of Pentacles, which again, another infinity sign. I love it. So with the Five of Swords, I feel like you guys are going to be very competitive. And I don't think it's going to be in a bad way, right? I feel like you guys are constantly going to be kind of challenging each other to chess, challenging each other to checkers, maybe even going online and playing Club Penguin. But regardless, there's always going to be this level of, you know, I'm going to one-up you, or I'm going to do this or that, but in a very healthy sense. Maybe the two of you also prank one another. But with the Five of Swords, I feel like the two of you are going to feel very, very relieved after a period of, you know, maybe being in relationships where you had partners that were only in it for themselves, that were very cutthroat, that were only dedicated to their own growth. It's going to feel very nice to kind of pick up everything that you have still left of, you know, maybe your heart, if you were someone who went through a heartbreak, or, you know, maybe they were someone who went through a heartbreak, and seeing that not everyone is like that, you know, that some people actually do want to stick around and pick up the swords with you. Now, traditionally, in traditional tarot, the Five of Swords could also be talking about, you know, maybe there's a lot of chaos going around around you. You know, this could even be a lot of thoughts. Maybe there's a lot of burdens in regards to balancing time. But since it's swords, I think it's going to be more mental thoughts than anything. I feel like the two of you might be a little bit too over analytical in regards to the relationship. So make sure to just focus on what feels right, to focus on what makes you feel happy as well, to crack jokes, you know, and to have fun. especially with the Ten of Wands, because there are going to be a lot of responsibilities going forward. And I don't even want to say it as burdens, because it's just responsibilities. It's just life, right? I feel like both of you are going to come together 50-50, but that also means sharing the workload. It means sharing the dishes, sharing doing, maybe cooking dinner, or maybe buying dinner, sharing rent. It's all of those little things. And I feel like having to work together is going to be very exciting, but also very challenging at the same time. It's almost like if we could split this crow down the middle and you are this half and your future partner is that half, you're going to have to relearn how to fly completely, how to flap your wings at the same time in order to keep these wands off the ground, right? And it's not always easy, but it is definitely worth it in order to achieve that happily ever after and the ending of that cycle. Now, with the King of Wands, oh my goodness, I'm loving all of this imagery of the 8 and of the infinity symbol. So I definitely feel like maybe you guys are soulmates. Maybe this is a past life relationship that has just kind of followed you. It could also be that this is someone who you're literally going to end the cycle with, someone who is always going to love you unconditionally with no strings attached, with no expectations. Now, with the King of Wands, I feel like they see the relationship as something that's very mature in terms of the two of you can achieve your own passions independently and not have to feel bad about it, right? And that's something the two of you are really going to love going forward, is being independent in a relationship and with a partner. Now, with the King of Wands as well, the two of you are going to be in your power. The two of you are going to be able to speak up for yourselves and going to be able to travel together. I feel like the two of you are going to see the world. You're going to maybe even learn some new hobbies together. If one of you knits or one of you crochets, the other one is going to try to take that up as well, just because they want to be able to have common interests with you. They want to be able to do things that you really like too. So it's not just going to be one way. Maybe that's even why we have all of these infinity symbols going on here, because it is very 50-50. Whatever they really like to do, you like to do, and whatever you like to do, they like to do, right? So it's very much based on compromise. And well, if we play your video game tonight, let's play mine tomorrow, or let's play a board game tonight and then you pick what we do tomorrow. So it's very much that energy. Maybe the two of you as well will have movie dates every month, and maybe one of you will pick the movie one month and then the other one the next month. So it's going to be very fair. Now, with the King of Wands, I feel like they're going to ask you to be their travel companion. They're going to ask you to travel the world with them, and to kind of see new experiences. Now, with the Hierophant, maybe they're going to ask you to marry them while you guys are traveling, while you guys are out and about. But I feel like they definitely see this as a very serious connection. They see you as someone that they could move in with. They see you as someone that they want to spend the rest of their lives with, to be honest. I see the Hierophant as literally my twin flame card, my relationship card, as people coming together and being married. Now, the Hierophant, he's someone who can marry people. He's someone who can decide what's going on in a situation next. And I feel like they really see the relationship as being mature enough to know where to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in a lot of relationships or even situationships in the past for your future partner, they've not really known how fast to progress, what they should be doing, or, there's going to be a knowingness in this relationship. There's going to be this energy of, oh, I know what to do. I need to just message them, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. But again, I feel like there's definitely like a marriage on the horizon, if that's something that you want to do. There's a lot of traditional energy to this too. Even though we have the number 5 here, we're just symbolizing change. There's change in things that are still going to be comfortable and familiar. Maybe the two of you are going to, kind of come together, and even though it's brand new and it's a little bit scary, it's going to feel very familiar. It's going to feel very comforting too. We also have the Emperor. So remember how I was talking about twin flame energy? So for some of you, this is literally going to be your divine masculine, maybe having to juggle between your relationship and your work, or having to juggle between your relationship and family life. But I feel like there's definitely going to be this energy of having to juggle. And you see how the winds are kind of they're all over the place. It's a little bit moody. The wind is being moody today, right? And there's all of these birds in the background, and I feel like you're kind of looking off into the space and you're saying, wow, I could be spending time with this person, or maybe that's even how they're feeling, is they're feeling, wow, I wish that I were spending more time with them. But you also know that you do have responsibilities. You do have your own priorities that you have to look after as well, and so do they. So you can't be too much into that energy, right? But I feel like you guys are going to find a really good, healthy balance going forward on kind of how to bring your times together, right? I'm very much hearing the song from Amy Winehouse, Our Day Will Come. I very much feel like it's that sort of an energy. Maybe time is something that is really tough for the two of you. It's really hard to schedule dates in the future when the two of you are finally together. But regardless, there is going to be a lot of balance to be had here. So going on to your next few cards, these are going to be your Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what they think of you. So we have the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Swords. Oh my goodness, lots of sevens. We have the Six of Swords, the Moon card, the Page of Swords, the Magician, and the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so right off the bat, with the Moon card, because I really want to clear this up. They see you as someone who knows themselves on the inside and out. I love seeing the Moon card in regards to what people think about you, because it really could be talking about deceit, but being as you're the person who is literally walking away from it. They see you as someone who actively walks away from people who might be deceiving them, wolves in sheep's clothing. You're someone who is just constantly removing yourself from the situation and moving forward, moving on to something that is a lot more conductive and moving on to something that's better for you. They see you as someone who has a lot of opportunities, maybe even a lot of suitors, maybe someone who is very well liked, very popular, and they see it as maybe they're a little bit worried that it could be opportunities for you to stray from them, but you never do, right? I feel like it's always you being like, yeah, okay, Jeffrey, come on, get in the boat, and they get in the boat slowly and they start rowing away, right? And you're just sort of like, yeah, we're still together, we're still doing this, and maybe they constantly are counting their lucky stars that the two of you are still together. Maybe they're a little bit worried that one day you would just kind of up and leave, because maybe they feel like there would be too many responsibilities in regards to the relationship. Maybe that's something that really worries them. But regardless, they see you as someone who has very much lightened their load, maybe even in regards to having all these opportunities, having all these situations that are knocking on your doors. It could even be in regards to career. Maybe you're lightening the load and saying, well, this is what I want to actually be doing. This is what I want to be focusing on. And this is what I can leave behind. They see you as someone who is just as positive as they are, someone who looks on the bright side of life and finds the silver lining in situations. But again, you move towards situations that are more conductive for you. Now, with the Moon card, again, I feel like they're very much saying, hey, you are someone who knows yourself inside and out. You're someone who is incredibly intuitive, incredibly intelligent, and you're capable of anything. It could even be that they want to get to know you a little bit more because they see you as a mystery. They see you as someone who maybe doesn't necessarily say everything that's on your mind, or doesn't necessarily say everything right off the bat. Like, oh, hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I do this for career, and this, and this, and this, and this. Maybe you're a bit more aloof. Maybe you're a little bit more mysterious in that regard. And that's something that they're both very drawn to and something that they want to change, right? And that's also the number 9, with it being the number 18. So this is talking again about someone who might seclude themselves in regards to being independent. Now with the Page of Swords, again, baby steps in regards to communication. So maybe they see you as someone who literally is just kind of sticking their toe in the water, seeing if the water is warm and seeing if it's something that you want to continue to grow from in regards to the relationship. But with the Magician too, they see you as a master manifester. They see you as someone who literally can start over brand new. Oh my goodness, yes, that's the energy. So you're moving forward, you're ending out that old cycle that no longer served you, you're taking the lessons with you, all the wisdom and the advice in order to get to know yourself, and you're starting over brand new. They see you as someone who is very capable of starting over brand new, whether that be a job, a friendship, a relationship. You're someone who is just very gracious in the face of change, and they really love that about you, because that's something that opens you up even more to the law of attraction and to the universe's abundant of blessings, right? So with the Knight of Cups in reverse, I very much feel like this is the energy of saying, I feel like, you're not as loving towards me as I might be to you. Maybe they're a little bit more sentimental. Maybe they're a little bit more sensitive, which is pretty funny because in the last few cards that we've had, they're not someone who is traditionally like that. They're not someone who is traditionally the Knight of Cups, right? So I feel like it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, and them saying, well, you could be a little bit more affectionate while also at the same time simultaneously needing to be a little bit more affectionate towards you. So I very much feel like that's the energy here, is that they're saying, I wish that you would maybe extend your cup of love a little bit more to me. I wish that you would be a little bit more open, because maybe they just don't necessarily know what's on your mind. Maybe you're constantly on the go, you're constantly moving, you're constantly achieving your goals, and they feel like you have so many better opportunities and so many possibilities ahead of you that they're just sort of like, should I even try, to have a relationship? Maybe it's very slow goings in the beginning, but I feel like you guys are always drawn back to each other. There's this magnetic connection, almost like you guys are twin flames, like you're supposed to be together, right? Like they're the lock and you're the key. So I feel like it's going to be a very, very beautiful relationship. So going on to your last few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are closing messages in regards to your relationship. So we have the Two of Wands, the King of Wands again, the Empress card, which actually goes along with the Emperor, woohoo! The Six of Wands, the Star card, the Queen of Pentacles, and they had the King of Pentacles. I love that you guys have all matching. I love it. Oh my goodness. We have the Ace of Pentacles, which leads into the Ten of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. I love it. I'm living for it. So the Two of Wands, you guys are definitely going to start planning together. You guys are going to go on adventures together. It's going to just be a really, really fun time. Notice how we have so much butterfly imagery as well, which makes me think that the two of you are going to go through a lot of transformation, not only in regards to reaching this relationship, but also when it comes to the relationship in general. The two of you are really going to flourish. The two of you are really going to bloom, like we had that card earlier. That's the energy of your relationship. You guys are going to travel together, see the world, experience new cultures, maybe even learn new languages together, right? But that's when we come into the Empress card with number 3. They feel in harmony with you, and they feel in harmony with this relationship. They see you as someone who can take care of themselves, someone who is brilliant, abundant, maybe even very nurturing, and someone that they could get very nostalgic with. I think that they love traveling down their memory lane with you. Even if you didn't grow up together, they love telling you stories that happen in their life because you listen so intently. Do you see how she has her hand, propped up against her head? It's almost like she's listening and she's taking in everything that you have to say. And I feel like that's how you look at them when you listen to them, when you have these heart-to-hearts and when you have feelings jams. They're just sort of like, wow, this is someone who genuinely cares about me and cares about what I have to say. Now, they also see you as their Empress, as their other half, as their maybe even twin flame, as their soulmate. They feel very, very, very victorious around you as well. They feel like they've won the lottery. They feel excited. They feel happy. This is just a great card, right? This is talking about going out for the hunt and literally getting such a good hunt that you come back and everyone in the village can eat now. Everyone can feel sustained. Everyone can feel happy. Everyone can feel that their needs are met, right? And that's the energy as well with the Star. This is a great omen. This is saying that hope is on your side, that the universe is on your side as well. And it's only a matter of time before this person comes into your life. Make sure to keep hoping, make sure to keep using the law of attraction and keep focusing on your abundances and the silver linings as opposed to what could potentially go wrong, right? Because we also have the Queen of Pentacles. Again, they see you as their equal. They see you as someone who is just as good at time management, just as good at money management as well. Someone who is very good with change. See how she has the Wheel of Fortune on her head, and she knows that it's only a matter of time before the wheel turns in her favor. But again, make sure that you're kind of starting over brand new. If you need a brand new opportunity or you need a fresh start, it's never too late to start over, especially with the Ace of Pentacles. This is saying a solid foundation is coming your way. The universe is going to be gifting you something that is going to withstand the test of time. So going on to this last card, and then we will go on to my homie descriptor cards, woohoo, talking about what this person might look like, and different kind of characteristics and descriptors, I suppose you can say. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Now this is everything, right? And when I say everything, it's cash up to wazoo. It's having that castle. It's having enough food and good food too, going out to dinner every night, or maybe not even every night. Maybe you get indigestion from going out out too many nights to eat, but that's fine because you have enough money to make a really bomb dinner at home, right? But regardless, the Ten of Pentacles is feeling like you have enough and then some. It's you guys pooling your resources together in order to have a better existence and to have a better life, right? And by no means is this humble living at all. You know, you guys will always have enough. There will always be enough for the holidays, for family, even to have children. You know, maybe the two of you are so focused on career that by the time you finally sit down and you say, hey, you know, would you want to have children? Would you want to adopt a bunch of pets? Would you want to do this or that? You know, you guys are going to be in a position to do so, you know? I feel like you guys are going to be a power couple as well. You're going to make money together, and it's going to be quite a bit of money. It's going to be good money. So, you know, be in that money energy, honestly, going forward. So going on to your descriptor cards, these are just going to be energies on who your future partner is. So we have, starting us off, shy. So I love that we have this shy card first. I feel like this is someone who is a little bit reserved, maybe someone who blushes very easily as well, which is something you're really going to find admirable about them. I think that it's going to melt your heart, the fact that they're so shy, because maybe they look like someone who isn't traditionally shy either. You know, maybe they look a little rough around the edges. Maybe they have tattoos or like piercings or something along those lines. Maybe they dyed their hair, and you look at them and you're like, wow, you're such a cool person. And then like you really get to know them, and they're just sort of like, oh my goodness, like don't look at me when I'm blushing, you know? And it's just such a complete shift in what your first impression was, and I think it's just gonna be so beautiful, right? So going forward, we also have honest. This is someone who is incredibly honest. This is someone who is very forthcoming, not only with you, but also with themselves and with others. This is someone who is always going to speak up for themselves and, you know, kind of get across what it is that they want going forward and out of a situation. We have amazing laugh. I feel like it's going to be very contagious as well. Whenever they laugh, you're laughing along, they're making jokes. It might even be dad jokes, just really, really corny jokes, and you're like, ugh, right? But we also have motherly. So again, you know, earlier, like I was saying, this is someone who is incredibly nurturing. They might be that mom or dad friend that always brings along like gummy snacks and Band-Aids, and they're just like watching out for everyone in their friendship group. We also have piercings. So, oh my goodness, again, you know, this could be someone who has maybe their eyebrow pierced, maybe they have their nose pierced. I couldn't even think of body parts. I don't know why I couldn't think of body parts except for eyebrows. Maybe that's it. Maybe for the majority of you, it's just gonna be eyebrow piercings. But regardless, this is someone who might even have their ears pierced. They might have their nose pierced, maybe even a belly button piercing. But regardless, I feel like they're going to find that really, really interesting and really intriguing to be able to do body modifications, right? But we also have sharp features. So I feel like this is someone who has very striking features, maybe a very straight nose, a very aligned profile. I feel like very symmetrical as well. This is someone who you're going to look at them and you're just going to be in awe. You know, you're going to feel like, wow, this is someone who is incredibly beautiful, regardless of if they're male or female. It's almost like they take your breath away, you know, because they're so attractive. They're just amazing. It's almost like you trip over your own words, and you might be the more eloquent one out of the two of you, you know, especially when it comes to speaking your mind and getting across your feelings, because you are in so much queen energy. But at the same time, I feel like they might take away your words. They might take your breath away, right? We also have green eyes. So for some of you, this person might have green eyes. They might even have hazel eyes. But I feel like that's something that's really going to pull you in, is their eyes. You know, maybe their eyes kind of crinkle at the corners as well when they smile, and that's something that's really going to stand out to you. We also have warm. So even though they're very shy, once they warm up to you, they're incredibly loving. They're incredibly compassionate and incredibly understanding at the same time. We also have Earth Angel. Woohoo! So I feel like this is someone who has literally come to Earth, you know, in order to teach people about love and in order to teach people about loving people without expectations, right? And I feel like that's something that's very important to them, is loving without expectations and without, you know, kind of setting high expectations on their partners going forward, because that's something that maybe they struggled with in the past, and maybe they struggled with for themselves, was setting too high of expectations for themselves. We also have childlike though, so they're very much in that childlike, fun-loving energy. They're someone who always loves to go out and have a good time. They're very, very charming though as well, so maybe they have a lot of people that kind of are drawn to them like moths to a flame, right? They might even come off a little bit of a player energy. But at the same time, I feel like this is someone who is just incredibly charming, and they're very much just good at conversation, right? They're very much a fast talker as well. Someone who maybe trips over their own words. Maybe that's why I was saying they take your words away, is because maybe they're taking their own words away. Maybe they're like, but regardless, they love talking fast, and especially when it comes to speaking their mind, because then they don't have to do it like over an extended period of time. Very, very reliable. Someone who will always have your back, someone who will never turn away from you or, kind of hang up on you when you need help. A very, very casual dresser as well. Now, they can dress to the nines, and I feel like they can clean up very well, right? But at the same time, they do love dressing casual. They love getting in sweatpants and just having a lazy day, right? But they smell very good. Oh my goodness. I feel like they really pride themselves on cologne and perfume. Now, we have inventive. So again, it's that entrepreneurial energy. Maybe someone who does want to be an inventor, someone who does want to make that next big thing, right? But we also have awkward. Maybe that's even why we have shy. Maybe they're very socially awkward. Maybe this is someone who has, with fast talking, stuttered over their words. Maybe they have caught themselves, constantly stuttering or tripping over the same words, and that makes them feel a little bit awkward. That makes them feel a little bit nervous about starting a conversation. Maybe for some of you that picked this pile, maybe your future partner is someone who is dyslexic. Maybe your future partner is someone who has Asperger's, or maybe even suffers from learning disabilities, but I feel like they are incredibly expressive, in regards to how they love you, like they're going to give you gifts as opposed to, maybe taking their time and being like, so I love you. They're going to be the type of person who gets sweaty palms. They're going to be the type of person who probably asks your parents' advice, regardless of your age, on what they should get you for Christmas, or, what they should be doing for you in regards to Hanukkah, or, what you guys should be doing in general. But it's because they have a little bit of social anxiety, and I feel like a little bit of social awkwardness. But I feel like this is someone, again, who is going to show that they love you through maybe giving you gifts and maybe just displays of love that way. I feel like this is someone who, again, maybe they focus that energy of being dyslexic, or, maybe even having a learning disability, and kind of transform that and turn that into something beautiful. Turn that into a superpower where they can go to work and they can not have to worry about having to interact in the way where they're constantly thinking, what should I say next? What should I do next? It's very comforting for them to be in an environment where they know what to do and they know what to say going forward. So maybe that's why they really like working, is because it's familiar. It's something that they know and something that they love. Now, we also have thick/curvy. So I feel like for a select few of you, this is going to be someone who is incredibly thick, and really curvy, maybe thick in the right places. Maybe they got that booty though. Maybe this is someone who is just, I don't know, maybe they got that dad bod. I don't know. I loved Chris Pratt when he had his dad bod. Oof, nothing better, right? So we also have stubborn, someone who is a little bit stubborn. I feel like they're a little bit set in their ways from time to time, but it's also because we had so much divine masculine energy, and sometimes divine masculine energy won't budge. It will, maybe only give an inch when you're expecting a mile, and they're just sort of like, no, this is all I'm going to travel. This is all I'm going to do, and I feel like it takes a while for them to be able to slowly inch into the unknown and inch into things that aren't familiar to them. They just love being comfortable. They might also have Taurus in their chart for some of you that are watching this stack. I don't know why, but I really wanted to bring that up, that they might have that in there, and that's why they love that sort of like comfortable energy, maybe big fluffy pillows in their apartment. This might be the type of person who loves redecorating as well. But we do have orange hair. Woohoo! So it could be that they dyed their hair orange. It could even be that they have orange highlights. Maybe this is someone who has blonde hair with orange towards the crown. Maybe their facial hair is even red if they have facial hair. But I feel like they might have a little bit of orange in their hair. We also have self-conscious. So maybe they're self-conscious about their orange hair. Maybe they've dyed it. Maybe there's someone who at the same time is just self-conscious in general. Maybe that's why they're so shy. Maybe they're self-conscious about the fact that they are a fast talker and they tripped over their own words a lot, So I definitely feel like there's a lot that they kind of beat themselves up over, and I feel like they shouldn't. I feel like there's someone who is incredible, and you're going to say that to them, and I feel like that's when they're really going to bloom as well in social situations going forward with you. is that you're going to have them bloom. You're going to say to them, hey, you know, you're incredible in social situations, and you're incredible at this, and you're incredible at that, right? And you might even be saying to them, you're really, really ambitious. You know, you're someone who is always going to that next level. You're someone who's always achieving whatever it is that you have your eyes set on, and maybe that's very inspiring for you. They're also very environmentally friendly, so this is someone who recycles. This is someone who is actively cleaning up after themselves, cleaning up after others. Maybe if they go to the library or they go to the public pool, they're picking up trash that other people left behind. But they're very, very I guess ecologically knowledgeable, right? This is someone who knows what plastics to use. They might even have reusable bags that they bring to the store with them just because they don't like adding to the landfill. And when they do have things that are disposable like straws, I feel like they save them up and then they keep them for repurposing kind of needs. You know, maybe there's someone who loves to reuse straws. Maybe there's someone who loves to make DIY projects out of them. But I feel like they're very crafty. They might even have a Pinterest account that they love to go on. Because they're very imaginative. There we go. You know, this is someone who is incredibly crafty and very resourceful. We also have self-reliant. You know, this is someone who has been very ambitious, but it's kind of on their own accord. You know, it's kind of their own push and their own drive to go forward. You know, maybe they were someone who was raised in a single-parent home, so they really strive to push themselves every single day, but they can also overwork themselves at times, you know, and maybe there's going to be times where you look at this person and you say, can you rely on me? Like, can you stop relying on yourself so much? Like, I get that you're ambitious. I get that you can do all of this for yourself, but could you lighten your load? Could you let me carry some of your wands? Could you let me help you? And that's why we have so many 10s as well. Is honestly the feeling that I'm getting is that the two of you are learning how to bring both of your responsibilities and your baggage and everything that makes you you together so that both of you can work through it together going forward. Now for your last descriptor card, we have flirt. Woohoo! So again, you know, I feel like this is someone who is very friendly. This is someone who, you know, maybe they come off that they're flirting. Maybe they come off that they're hitting on other people, but they're just being them. You know, maybe this is the type of person who would say to others, hey, you want to stop by my work and visit me and blah blah blah, but it's just so that they get business, right? Maybe they get a commission for every person that they refer outside of the shop that comes in and gets something to eat. You know, maybe if they work at Subway or something, they're like, yo, I gotta be making this commission. I gotta have these people come into this shop, right? And maybe that's something that you're a little bit worried about to begin with. You know, maybe you're a little bit worried that this is someone who has a lot of options and that is a flirt and that could potentially stray, right? But I feel like this is someone who is incredibly loyal, someone who doesn't even know that they're flirting, to be honest. I feel like they see it more as just being very friendly and being very open to conversation, if anything else. But again, you know, the reason why as well that I feel like they would never stray is because they see themselves not as a Casanova, right? They see themselves as just Jake or just Jennifer or, you know, just them. They don't see themselves as, you know, this playboy or playgirl that can go out and woo everyone and make everyone feel like, you know, they're the coolest being in existence. This is someone who is incredibly humbled, and this is someone who beats themselves up from time to time, you know, especially in regards to what they're capable of, you know? So, you have nothing to worry about with this person. I feel like they are an incredible partner stack too. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for watching this video, though. I had so much fun reading for you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure to leave a like down below and a comment as well, as I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day every day. Also, make sure to hit subscribe and also the notification bell if you have not already to be notified every time that I post a brand new reading. But yeah, I hope that you will also check out my website, DarlingDTarot.com, for 10% off all of my readings. We are having a grand opening sale for having a brand new website, so I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So definitely check that out and maybe get a personal reading with me, right? Also, I have my Etsy in the description box down below and all of my other links. So yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 3. Let's get right into your reading and see who is your future partner. So right off the bat with your cameo, it very much makes me feel like a Greek past life. Maybe the two of you were together in a past life. Maybe the two of you have just kind of unfinished business. Maybe the two of you are even soul family at the same time. But regardless, I feel like there's a lot of history there and there's a lot of kind of connection. So it's almost going to be an instant recognition when the two of you meet and when the two of you are together. It's always going to be fun and uplifting energy. I feel like this is someone who wants to constantly keep you laughing. They want to constantly keep you in a good mood and a good state of mind as well. It's almost like they really want to provide for you and they want to be that person that you can rely on, that you can kind of lean on. Because you see in this cameo how she's kind of leaning on her own shoulder. It's almost like they're saying, I want you to kind of lean on my shoulder. I want you to rely on me and not have to rely on yourself so much going forward, right? I feel like this is someone who is going to take a lot of weight off of your shoulders, maybe even in regards to financial problems. Maybe this is someone who is going to help when you have debt in the future, or if you were going to have debt. Maybe this is someone who would help you with paying the rent if you didn't have enough money to pay rent. This is someone who would help buy groceries. This is someone who would just kind of extend their hand out to you and say, hey, you know, what do you need help in? What do you need kind of assistance in going forward, right? And I feel like they're very much that energy of wanting to help. They're always helping. And I feel like it's not only going to just be you, but it's going to be everyone in their lives. And that's something you're going to find very admirable about them, is that they are constantly looking after and helping the people that they love. They're constantly protecting them as well. And I feel like they're really going to look up to you. You know, maybe they're going to put you on a little bit of a pedestal. Maybe they're going to look at you in this goddess or godlike energy, you know, and it's almost like you're an ethereal being to them, right? It's just such a beautiful, beautiful energy in how they see you. So starting off into your first two cards, these are your angel therapy cards, and these are going over messages that you need to know in regards to your future partner. So we have the release card and the ear chakras card. Woohoo! So these are really, really awesome energies to start off with. Right off the bat with release, I feel like there's a few energies here. I feel like your future partner, if you haven't met them yet, is currently going through releasing an ex-partner, or currently going through releasing an old circumstance that no longer kind of suits them, right? Maybe they've held on to a career for far too long that they've outgrown, but it's comfortable. They don't want to leave. You know, it could even be that they're with a partner that they just don't feel happy with anymore, and they have to move forward. They have to be able to stand up for themselves and move on. You know, for others, maybe it's just this constant thought of, well, if I hold out for my ex, then they're going to come back in one day, right? And maybe this person is starting to realize that they've held on to them for so long that they've missed so many good opportunities and so many chances for love. When you guys finally meet, they might even say to you, like, look, I literally have not dated for like 5 years, for 6 years, for 7 years, because I was in this really long-term relationship and it was really, really serious, and maybe they even pulled out, maybe they pulled away, maybe they ghosted them, and maybe it was something that really upset them. It was something that really hurt them, and they held on to every text message. They held on to everything, right? And now is the time that they're releasing that. They might even say to you, like, I don't have any of this anymore, but I'm still a little hurt by it. You know, maybe this is someone who has a little bit of baggage still from the past. Maybe this is someone who is in a deceitful relationship and they're a little bit scared going forward. And that's something that they have to release. That's something that they have to work on. And I feel like it's something that they're actively going to be working on going forward as well, is not to be jealous, you know, not to jump to conclusions, because I feel like this might be the type of person who does jump to conclusions. And you might even be like, well, how'd you figure that, Jim? You know? And they're just sort of like, well, it always takes you 30 minutes to get to the house, and, well, you spent another 5 minutes going to the grocery store today than usual, so you were out for this long, you know? But I feel like that's how they used to be in the past. So they're really holding themselves back going forward because they really are learning how to trust again, I guess is the best way to put it. And learning how to love again, learning how to love unconditionally, and learn to love without fear is the biggest lesson that they have to learn here. Now it says, work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. So that's very much the energy that they're in. But your angels are also stepping forward and saying, if you have anything that you need to release, if you're holding on to an ex that no longer serves you, if you're holding on to a circumstance or a situation that no longer serves you, let go of it. Don't hold on to things so tightly. You know, when I think of this release card, I also think of someone that's holding on to a butterfly, and the tighter that you hold on to the butterfly, the more it's going to crush it. it, the more that it's going to hurt this very fragile, very delicate blessing of an insect, right? So we want to loosen our grip. We want to look at everything in our life, every relationship, every circumstance, every, situation as a butterfly that we're holding in the palm of our hands. Don't grip too tightly, but also make sure that you're covering it slightly so that the wind doesn't hit it and scare it, right? So that's very much the energy that we want to be in. Allow yourself to surrender, because I feel like your future partner is definitely surrendering things that no longer serve them and things that they could move on from. I think that they're also starting to realize that there's more fish in the sea and that there's better fish in the sea, right? It's almost like they're like, there's bigger fish to fry here, Miranda. I'm not going to be stuck on you anymore. And that's the energy that they have going forward. So with ear chakras, it says, notice messages that appear as sounds, music, and words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayers. So this is a really awesome card as well because it's talking about receiving messages in the form of songs. You might start noticing a certain song is playing on repeat around the time that you meet this person. Make sure that you write it down. Make sure that you write down the lyrics and write down kind of everything that goes along with it. If you had any thoughts along with it, because I feel like with this woman that's napping in this ear chakras card, maybe you're going to wake up from naps or you're going to wake up from sleep at night and you're going to have these songs in your head. You're going to have these song lyrics. Make sure that you meditate on them. Make sure that after your day is over, you reopen your journal, you look at the song lyrics that you wrote down, and you really think about it. You ruminate on it. You really meditate on it as well, because I feel like some of these songs are going to be direct songs from this future partner. And it's going to be songs that they really, really love going forward. And maybe that's even going to be your confirmation that you found the right partner, is that you're going to wake up one day singing Breathless by the Corrs or whatever that sings it, and you're going to be like, why am I singing that? I never listen to that sort of music. And you're going to find out when you get into their car for your first date, they're playing Breathless and all you hear is, go on, leave me breathless. And you're just sort of like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? But it's that confirmation that you needed, right? In order to know that this person is, the person that maybe you should release that unsuccessful ex for, right? But see it as a very good opportunity to find love again and to be with someone who is going to really help you into a healthy relationship, into an abundant relationship at the same time. This is someone who is all ears, literally. They're going to be an amazing listener to you. This is someone who is always going to be up to hearing you out and wanting to understand you. I feel like at times they feel a little bit confused by you, almost like you're an enigma, maybe even a little bit mysterious, and that's something that they really want to get across, and that's something that they really want to get past with you. They don't want to have any sort of mysteries going on anymore. They don't want to feel confused about where this might be going. Do you see how she's holding her stomach? Some of you might literally become pregnant by this person. Some of you might already be pregnant and, maybe you find this person while you're pregnant. But regardless, if you're a single parent, I feel like this person is really going to step in and they're really going to help you out. For those of you who are literally single parents and who would love some help and assistance, this is going to be that person. This is going to be that person who will help you with the kids, who will help you with chores, who will help you with buying groceries, with all of that, right? Again, it's that energy of they want to help you and they want to assist you going forward. So again, make sure that you're paying attention to the music that you hear and make sure to pay attention to any synchronicities that you might see. I feel like those that pick this pile, you're going to be seeing a lot of 222, 111, 111, or 333s. Possibly even 444, right? But to be honest, I feel like it's 222, the absolute most. And that's going to be confirmation from your spirit guides that you are on course to meeting your perfect partner and heading towards a relationship, right? That's going to bring you balance and equilibrium and happiness. Because when we think of the ears, we think of equilibrium as well. If you have an ear infection, your equilibrium is off. You don't have any balance whatsoever. You're dizzy, you're not feeling good, you're nauseous. So this is very much talking about the more that you listen to this person, the more that you get to know them, and the more that you hear them out, the more you're going to feel comfortable in the situation, the more you're going to feel balanced, and the more you're not going to feel scared, right? And I think it's going to be that much easier to release anything that you might have been holding on to, or for them to release anything that they might have been holding on to as well. This is also saying, I feel like you guys are going to take a lot of naps together, because I feel like your future partner is someone who does take naps. I feel like they love taking them throughout the day, especially if this is someone who makes their own career, if they're a YouTuber, if they're a blogger, if they are a fashion designer, they just love to take a nap right before they get into work. And you might be the type of person who just kind of rolls their eyes and you're just sort of like, Larry, you literally just woke up and you're already preparing to go back to bed. And they're like, well, yeah, I just drank my coffee and I'm going to have a caffeine nap and then I'll be all charged up and ready to go for a few hours from now, right? And I think that that's the sort of energy that they have, is they love naps, they love relaxing, they love being comfortable. This might be someone who is a homebody as well. They love to stay indoors, they love to read books, maybe watch movies. They might be the type of person who would cook you a really nice meal and then play board games with you as opposed to watching TV or going out on a big fancy date. This is someone who likes to show off their cooking skills. I feel like they have a lot of plants as well. Do you see how she's surrounded by all of these greeneries and all of these flowers? I feel like that's your future partner. I feel like they have a green thumb. I feel like this is someone who is very, very successful when it comes to plants, and especially succulents. I don't know why, but I feel like they're very, very good with succulents. And maybe they might even gift you that, as opposed to cut flowers. They might be the type of person who will go out and buy you an actual plant. And they'll say, here you go. I felt really weird about giving you flowers because they're literally just going to die on your counter. So here's a plant. Take care of it, right? But I feel like that's the energy that they're going to come into your life with. Maybe they're going to renew your passion for gardening. Maybe they're going to renew your passion for cooking as well. I just feel like this is someone who is incredibly creative and incredibly talented going forward. So going on to your next three cards, these are your animal messages cards, and these are talking about characteristics, qualities, and traits of your future partner. So we have the rattlesnake card, humpback whale, and panda. Woohoo! So panda, definitely, what was I saying? Definitely a homebody, right? It says create a sacred space for yourself in your home and or place of work. And you see how he's all surrounded by bamboo and greenery and, very warm colors as well, even though there's very bright yellow, still very, very earthy tones. I feel like this is someone who is very down to earth. They're incredibly humble. They're not going to finesse people, or be like, ooh, let me flex on them. This is someone who, what you see is what you get. They don't put on a facade, they don't put on a false mask, but those people that have the shirts that literally say, I'd rather be home sleeping, that's your future partner. That's literally their energy. If they could be like a shirt turned into a person, that would be them. That would be the shirt that they would transform into if they could literally anamorph themselves into a shirt. Shirtamorph. If they could shirtamorph, they would be a literal shirt that says, I'd rather be at home sleeping, or namaste at home, or one of those sassy quotes about sleeping, right? This is someone who loves feeling comfortable, especially at work. If they are someone who works a traditional 9-to-5 job, I don't know why, but I feel like for some of you, they're going to work in a bakery, whether that be a cashier or actually icing cupcakes and icing cakes. Maybe this is someone who has their own cake shop, but regardless, I feel like they do create a sacred space for themselves in their place of work too. So this is someone who has plants there. This is someone who has crystals. This is someone who maybe even has a lot of neutral tones, maybe even cool tones, maybe even warm tones, right? But it's all things that match. It's all things that blend together so nicely. I feel like this is someone who has a very good knack for design and interior design. They have a very good eye for color. I feel like this is someone who might even be a little bit eclectic with the things that they collect. I feel like they have a lot of knickknacks. I feel like they have a lot of things that make them feel good and make them feel comfortable. Now, this person might have a lot of Aries or Taurus in their chart. Now, I don't know why I just felt like those two signs, but I feel like both of them are very happy in what they have. Both of them can suffer from a little bit of stubbornness, and both of them, have that very comfortable energy and comforting energy at the same time. I don't care what anyone says, an Aries and a Taurus are the most comforting horoscope signs out of anyone, right? They are just so understanding and they will listen to you. They will listen to everything that's going on. But regardless, with Panda, there's someone who is always saying, how can I make this place a lot more cozier? How can I make my house a home? This is someone who might go to IKEA every weekend. Maybe they go out to Goodwill. Maybe they go thrift shopping. I feel like they really, really enjoy finding deals as well, because they are very thrifty and they are very resourceful. And maybe that's how they find a lot of really neat things for inside of their home. Now, with the Panda card as well, this is someone someone who literally just loves to be in their comfort. They love to eat good food, they love to sleep, and they love to relax. So with Humpback Whale, going on to the kind of subject of Panda of relaxing and healing and meditation, this is where the music sort of section comes in. You know, maybe your future partner is someone who is a musician. Maybe there's someone who has made a career for themselves by making music. Maybe they play an instrument. Maybe they're a singer. But regardless, I feel like it is very instrumental to them. Get it? I feel like it's very important to them to be able to listen to music and be able to unwind at the end of the day. Maybe there's someone who listens to music right before bed and they daydream. You know, like kind of daydream at bed. Would that be night dream? Regular dream? Honestly, they just love being imaginative. They love going into their imagination. They could be an author. They could be someone who maybe even writes really, really good poetry. But I feel like music really inspires them to be able to feel their emotions and to be able to get it out on paper. Now, it says music is essential to your healing and well-being, whether singing, playing an instrument, or listening. So I very much feel like some of you are going to be dating someone who is a musician. Some of you are going to be with someone who is a singer, and some of you are going to be with someone who just really, really enjoys immersing themselves in music. And I don't feel like it's one specific type of music. Like, this isn't someone who just listens to heavy metal. This isn't someone who just listens to country. This is someone who listens to everything. You know, they dip their toes into every genre to see what they like and to see what might pique their interest, right? I think it's more about the emotions and the song lyrics and the feeling of the instruments, you know, the feeling that the sound gives it, as opposed to anything else, you know, as opposed to what genre it is. This is someone who is very open-minded, and this isn't someone who is going to kind of close off an entire genre just because they think it's uncool, so to speak, right? So going forward, we also have Rattlesnake. It says, the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So I feel like this is someone who in turn is going to heal a lot of people. Maybe this is someone who literally is a musician who is going to create healing music. Maybe this is someone who creates binaural beats for a few of you. Maybe for some of you, this is an actual Reiki practitioner. But regardless, I feel like this is someone who just has a very healing energy, very comforting energy at the same time. And I feel like they've been through a lot of trials and tribulations that have made them to be more compassionate and more understanding. It has made them more empathetic at the same time. You know, to be able to put yourself in another person's shoes is a gift. It really, truly is. And I feel like this person was definitely gifted with that along the way. It wasn't always easy, but it was something that they needed in order to achieve that evolution, in order to mature, and in order to kind of feel accomplished in themselves as well. I feel like this is someone who has climbed a lot of mountains. This is someone who has went through a lot of obstacles to get where they are now. And I feel like you're really going to be very proud of this person. You know, there's someone who perseveres and there's someone who never gives up. They really are very grateful for everything that they have going forward as well. I feel like there's someone who thanks the universe every single day for the blessings that they have. This is someone who never forgets just how lucky that they are to have water, to have food, to have electricity, right? This is someone who is incredibly grateful, but they're also very spiritual, and I feel like their spirituality is what kind of keeps them linked into the present moment and keeps them linked into that go-getter energy and maybe even divine masculine energy at the same time. Although I feel like this pile, your future partner, is someone who is incredibly balanced between the two. They're balanced in between just kind of going out there and achieving their goals and also taking time to feel what their intuition is saying and feel what their spirit guides are saying at the same time. I feel like this is someone who definitely receives a lot of signs through synchronicity, and that's something you're really going to enjoy about them, because maybe they'll send you like confirmations through messages and they'll be like, hey, I just saw 222 or whatever. You know, maybe that's something that they never really you know, admitted to doing before you came into their life, and then now they just feel so comfortable that they're like, oh, look at all these synchronicities, right? But regardless, going on to your next two cards, these are going to be your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are talking about overall energies that this future partner is bringing into your life in regards to the relationship. So we have number 38, Distance, and number 31, Celebration. Woohoo! Celebrate good times. Come on, celebrate big birds. Come on. So with number 38, Distance, this would literally be talking about maybe you guys are long distance relationships. Maybe one of you lives in a different country, in a different state, in a different city. But regardless, there is going to be traveling to see one another. It could even be that for a time period, if you guys are kind of exes, if you're releasing the literal past that happened separation between the two of you. You know, maybe you're ending that separation, maybe you're ending the divide, but for the most part, I feel like you guys are just going to live far away from each other. It doesn't have to be like a ridiculous amount of distance, but I definitely feel like there are going to be some miles that one or both of you are going to have to be willing to travel in order to see one another, right? Goes without saying. But with it is the word divide, you know, and very much I feel like that's what makes people grow stronger. You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder is the old saying. And I feel like that's very much the energy of you guys' relationship. Even though you guys are going through a separation or are going to be going through a separation, it's not going to actually divide you because you guys are spiritually connected. You guys are always there for each other. You guys are always kind of each other's equals and each other's other half, each other's better half. I think that's really sweet at the same time is that for just this pile alone, I keep hearing they're my better half, you know, they're my better half. And I feel like both of you feel that way. Like, and it's so sweet because both of you uplift one another to such great heights and say, you know, you're beautiful and you're kind and you're caring and you're generous and you're constantly pointing out the really beautiful qualities of one another. And I feel like both of you have been waiting for a relationship that is like this for so long, one that is healthy, one that is loving, and one that is reassuring. And even though we have the discord word at the end as well, I feel like even though there might be a little bit of discord, even though there might be a little bit of stormy waters in regards to there being a separation, I feel like you guys are always going to find common ground. That's something that you guys are always going to come back together on at the end of the day. You guys are never going to go to bed mad. You guys are never going to kind of experience those hardships that might set you back and might make you rethink the relationship, because you guys are always going to find the celebration in every situation. Even in arguments, I feel like the two of you are going to laugh. The two of you are going to smile, or, you know, maybe the two of you will talk it out. You'll go your separate ways, and then at the end of the day, you'll go, well, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? That was a ridiculous fight. And I feel like the two of you get so much joy out of one another that it would just be silly to go your separate ways, right? And I feel like that's very much how your families are going to feel, too. Your family is going to feel like, well, what are you doing leaving Jessica? You know, you guys are a pair, you guys are a team. We couldn't imagine you with anyone but Jessica, Jim. You know, so it's very much that energy. Everyone already sees the two of you as kind of those forever partners, and I feel like it's going to take a while for the two of you to get past the fear and the worry on if this is going to work and how this is going to work, instead focusing on the celebratory energies, instead focusing on bliss and joy and delight, and focusing on everything that could possibly be good in the world, right? I feel like it's going to take a transformation, though, from the two of you. And it's not going to be anything bad. It's almost like the two of you are going to close out a cycle together and then start up a new firm foundation, something that is a little bit better suited for the both of you. You know, maybe even with the release, you're going to release fears, you're going to release doubts or worries, and that's what's going to bring this kind of relationship to the next level. That's what's going to bring you into maybe even getting married or, you know, getting engaged. So with celebration as well, I feel like they see you as someone who is incredibly radiant, incredibly beautiful, incredibly attractive, regardless of if you are male or female. They just see you as eye candy, right? And especially with the celebration card, they see you as someone who is kind, caring, compassionate, and understanding with all of this pink. They see you as someone who is fun-loving and joyous, someone who, honestly, they just want to have a good time with. They see you as their best friend. So going on to your next few cards, these are your spirit animal messages cards, and these are talking about messages from their higher self. So we have number 61, Turkey Spirit, number 9, Brown Bear Spirit, which I love because we actually had Panda as well, which is another bear. We have Frog Spirit, number 36, Koi Fish Spirit, and number 4, Badger Spirit. I love how we ended with number 4 in the last row, and we're ending in number 4 in this row as well. Again, the number 4 is talking about firm foundations and deciding where it is that you want to be going forward. You know, it's almost a main hub. So going on to your next few cards, these are your animal spirit messages cards, and these are talking about words of wisdom and words of advice from your future partner's higher self. So we have number 61, Turkey Spirit, number 28, Frog Spirit, number 9, Brown Bear Spirit, number 36, Koi Fish, and number 4, Badger. Woohoo! So I love that we ended on a 4 in that last pile, and now we're ending in 4 in this pile as well. So Now, with number 61, this would be the number 7. This is talking about a very unique partnership. They're saying, don't worry, this isn't going to be like any partnerships you've been in the past. You know, especially if you've been in relationships that haven't been conductive, that haven't been healthy, that maybe have been deceitful or not exactly true. You know, they're saying that they're coming in with a completely different energy. You know, don't be expecting the past to happen again, because it's not. This is someone who wants to give to you. They want to give you the world. They want to basically just give you everything that you could possibly imagine, you know, that you'd ever want in a relationship as well. But for you, they're also saying, make sure that you give with gratitude and grace. You know, make sure that you're giving without expectations or without fears or without worries or doubts. You know, make sure that you are going into this relationship open-hearted, because that's very important for them. So we also have number 28, Frog Spirit, clear out the clutter. So as you're giving, as you are stepping into this brand new, authentic, and unique relationship, you know, make sure that you're clearing out anything that you might still be holding on to, releasing, right? The number 28 would be the number 10. So this is coming to the end of a cycle, clearing out anything that no longer serves us and starting over brand new. Now with number 9, Brown Bear Spirit, it says take some time out. You know, maybe even their higher self is noticing that you're someone who works very hard. You're someone who mirrors their energy. Notice how they had a panda bear and you have a brown bear as what they see you as. I love it, right? So the higher self's message is just make sure that you're relaxing, make sure that you're napping, make sure that you're getting enough rest and you're getting enough water in you as well. I feel like it's very important that you take care of yourself. Maybe you're someone who has kind of been neglecting that for a little bit, not in a bad way, but maybe you're someone who's just kind of been putting your own needs on the back burner and saying, well, I'll listen to music tomorrow, or I'll watch that show on Netflix tomorrow, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. You know, give yourself a self-care night where you do a face mask, where you do your makeup all pretty, or, you know, maybe you just play video games, or maybe you do a really, really big meal that you cook at your house, and then you sit down and you eat it all by yourself, right? But take some time out for you. I feel like that's incredibly important, is achieving your own independence still, and not having to rely on constantly moving forward. You know, make sure that you are taking time out to kind of get back to a healthy state of mind. You know, it's important that we take care of ourselves so that we are feeling encouraged to go to that next level, so we are feeling encouraged to achieve our absolute best, right? So going forward, we have Koi Fish Spirit, number 36, another number 9. Oh my goodness, woohoo! So again, you know, maybe the number 9 is very important to you. You could have Virgo or Libra somewhere in your chart, or maybe they do, but regardless, I feel like they're very much saying, again, focus on your independence. Know that it's okay to say no to people. You know that it's okay to tell people, hey, not this weekend, Jennifer, I have my own plans, right? Because there is always enough love. There's always enough money as well. If you feel overworked, take some time off. There's always enough to go around. Now, with this Koi Fish Spirit as well, they're saying surrender to the universe and surrender to the flow of things. Know that you are always going to have exactly what you need in the moment. And the same goes for them. You know, I feel like they're always going to make sure that you're well taken care of whenever you're with them, but they also need you to work with them, you know, in constantly clearing yourself out, you know, in knowing that there is always enough, and in showing gratitude. You know, maybe you are someone who tends to focus on things that don't necessarily go to plan, and I don't mean that in a bad way whatsoever. You know, maybe you're someone who is incredibly realistic. You know, maybe you're someone who is looking at things and kind of pointing out and saying, well, this could go wrong or that could go wrong. So let's make sure that we do this a little bit more logically. You know, it could be that maybe your partner is more focused on their heart, whereas you're more focused on your head. You're more focused on your logic and your intellect going forward. Now, we also have number 4, Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. You know, and especially in regards to this relationship, their higher self is saying, when you come towards me, or when I'm coming towards you, don't be scared. Be fearless. You know, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And we are going to create something absolutely beautiful. We are going to create something that will withstand the test of time, with the number 4 being this very firm, solid foundation. You know, do not worry. This is all going to come to fruition in the time that it's supposed to. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your animal totem cards, and these are talking about the overall energy of your future partner. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. Woohoo! So I love it. Oh my goodness, they're someone who is incredibly passionate but very nurturing at the same time. They love to travel, they love to be a go-getter, they love to put themselves out there and be very spontaneous. They just love to have a good time, right? Is sort of the energy that we have here. Now the 6 of Wands is victorious victorious energy. It's feeling like you've literally won the biggest prize. They feel very victorious in everything that they've accomplished. They feel successful. They feel well educated. They feel like they're the complete and total package, right? So I feel like there's someone who is very confident in themselves, or maybe that's the way that they appear on the outside to other people, is that they are very accomplished and that they are someone who feels very, very confident and proud in themselves. Now, with the Six of Wands as well, I feel like there's someone who can provide for you. I feel like there's someone who is always challenging themselves to get to a better mindset and also a better financial situation. This is someone who is always working towards their goals in regards to career. They're always chipping away little by little at what else they have to do going forward. Now, with the Knight of Pentacles, that is very slow moving, kind of meticulous energy. Slow and steady wins the race, but it's also talking about someone who knows when to pop up above the surface, who knows when to say something, and who knows when to stay quiet. You know, this is someone who knows that their silence can sometimes speak a lot louder than their words ever could. And this is just because they are someone who is usually very bubbly. They're someone who is very outspoken and very loving. So when they are kind of quiet, I think that a lot of people really do take notice, and a lot of people are like, oh, what's going on with them? But with the Knight of Pentacles as well, I feel like they're going to come forward to you with an offer. You know, this is someone who isn't shy about telling the people that they love them. Again, I feel like it's that sort of Taurus energy, especially with it being Pentacles. They could also have Capricorn or Virgo. With the Queen of Wands, they could have Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries in their chart. Again, another Aries. But regardless, you know, with the Knight of Pentacles, they're going to take their time in every endeavor that they do. You know, they're going to really plan it out. They're going to be meticulous, and then they're going to go into action. And I feel like there's someone who is still evolving, which is why we have a Knight here as opposed to a King. So going on to the Queen of Wands, I feel like this is someone who is very bright. They're very inviting. They're very vivacious. This is someone who might even be a little bit curvy. Maybe they're even a little bit muscular. For some of you that pick this pile, they might go out and like regularly work out. But regardless, with the sunflowers in the background, I feel like they might be a little bit tall. Maybe there's someone who is always standing very proud. They have a great posture. You know, even though at home they're like kind of, I don't want to say sloppy, but like they'll get food on them and then they'll kind of eat it off of them. Same though, if I get chocolate cake, it's on. It's like, it's all going down then. But with the Queen of Wands, this is someone who achieves their hobbies and achieves their goals every single day. They're very passionate. They're very upbeat. They're very upfront at the same time. I feel like they're not someone who is going to shy away from confrontation, and not in a bad way. I don't think that they're going to actively be seeking it out and being like, hey Jim, I remember what you said 2 years ago about my mac and cheese. I worked hard on that mac and cheese. I won the blue state ribbon on my mac and cheese alone. You know, so you can't say anything, Jim. You know, that's not the energy that they're going. They're not actively looking for fights, but they are actively sticking up for themselves and showing people like, I'm going to defend myself if you come after me. If you start acting hostile towards me, I'm going to defend myself. If you, you know, want to say something to me, I'll say something right back. The Queen of Wands is someone who will stick up for herself, but she's also very nurturing. You know, she's someone who treats her friends and family very well. She's someone who's incredibly independent, and she's someone who has her own goals and ambitions going forward. You know, she's someone who has her eye on the goal, so to speak, has her eye on the prize, and isn't going to falter for anything less than perfect or anything less than, you know, what she has her eyes set on. And that's very much the energy of your future partner, is that they're very nurturing, they're compassionate, but at the same time, they're going to stand up for themselves and they're going to achieve their goals. So going on to your next few cards, these are your Ethereal Visions cards, and these are talking about more information in regards to your future partner. So starting us off, we have the Tower card, the Seven of Swords, the Well, the Six of Cups. I love that we got another six, and also the Page of Cups. Okay, so right off the bat, oh my goodness, you know, with the Six of Cups, this is happiness, this is friendship, this is reconciliation with people as well. This isn't the type of person to hold a grudge. This isn't the type of person to, you know, just kind of carry on with negative energies. This is someone who's very lighthearted and very friendly. I feel like they get along with everyone as well. Like, they could be sitting on a crowded plane and they'll become best friends with the person next to them. Like, that's just sort of the energy that they have. They're very uplifting and they're very open to having a conversation with people, which is something that you're really going to love about them. But at the same time, I feel like with this energy, sometimes they can be a little bit immature. Sometimes they can always be in this energy of, let's just have fun and let's just play and let's not worry about it so much. It's almost like that song from Mika where it's like, you know, let's not worry about, you know, tonight. Let's worry about tomorrow. Like, oh my goodness. Search that song up, Tomorrow by Mika. It is so good. It's fresh to death. But with the Six of Wands, they're focusing on an abundance of love. They're focusing on an abundance of laughter and friendship and happiness as opposed to anything else. You know, this isn't someone who is going to be cutthroat and be the Wolf of Wall Street to make a buck. You know, this is someone who would rather be having a very modest home and a very modest living if it meant that they have a lot of very good people around them. And I feel like that's the energy that they want. They want to be able to be not only in your life, but to be in your family's life as well. They want to be involved with your in-laws or with their in-laws, you know, they want you to be involved with your in-laws too, right? They just want to incorporate both of your families as one big family because they kind of see a marriage as you're not just marrying that person, you're marrying their family as well. And that's something you're really going to appreciate, is that they're not going to be the type of person who gives you an ultimatum of, you know, it's either me or your mom, or it's either me or your brother. You know, they're very open to it, and they're going to understand, you know, because they have siblings, they have deep family bonds, and I feel like nothing for them is deeper than family. You know, nothing is stronger than family at the same time. Now, with the Tower, I feel like they've been through a lot of kind of upheavals throughout their life. You know, maybe they've moved a lot, maybe they've had a lot of uprootings, maybe they've had a lot of disappointments in regards to love, maybe they've just had to start over brand new time after time after time, and maybe it was really frustrating for them. For a select few of you that picked this pile, I feel like your future partner had to constantly move and had to constantly go to new schools, and that was something that was very upsetting, but it was also something that they picked up a lot of wisdom, and they also learned how to kind of let go of things that they no longer need, right? With this Seven of Swords. But with the Tower, I feel like it's also saying they're no longer putting up with situations that they just sort of suffered through, right? They're here to live. They're not here to survive. You know, they're here to have a good time as opposed to constantly being held down and oppressed by other people. And with the Tower, with the Seven of Swords, it's almost like I got rid of all those fake people. I pushed those fake people out of my tower. I brand them from Game of Thrones. I whoosh, bye. And this is your future partner feeling so proud of themselves that they managed to find the snake in the grass. They managed to find the fake friend, you know, and the person that wasn't actually ride or die or wasn't actually there for them, right? It's almost like, gotcha, you know, found them. Now with the Seven of Swords as well, this is saying that they had to take a different approach and a different course of action going forward. Because again, they're not someone who is cutthroat. They're not someone who is going to get even. They're not someone who is going to be looking for revenge. I feel like if anything, when they get hurt or when they have a disappointment in their life, they're more upset than anything else. You know, I feel like they're just very again, disappointed. I feel like even if people double cross them, they don't get mad. They just feel disappointed. And that might be something that they tell people is, look, I'm not mad at you, I'm just severely disappointed, right? And it's almost that like parent energy where you don't want them to be disappointed in you, so it almost hurts more that they aren't angry, that they're just disappointed, right? But again, their silence speaks louder than words. Now with these Seven of Swords, again, I feel like for some of you that picked this pile, you know, they literally have been cheated on in relationships. They have had people literally steal from them, literally take from them. So I feel like going forward into a relationship, they might kind of hold out their cup of love from an arm's length and from an arm's distance. They don't want to get too close, right? Maybe they're a little bit worried, they're a little bit concerned, because maybe it's easier for them to focus on their art. Maybe it's easier for them to focus on their music, or, you know, if they're a painter, focus on that, you know, focus on their drawings, focus on maybe their mandolin playing. But regardless, with the Well, this is talking about someone who takes time for themselves, you know, out in nature, out in Mother Gaia. Also, we have a pendulum here, so I feel like maybe again, this is someone who works in divination. Maybe this is someone who has a literal pendulum, and that's how they work with their ancestors to receive guidance. But with the Page of Cups, I feel like if they do come forward first, you know, if you're not the first person that's going to make the move here, because you might have to actually literally tell this person, hey, I like you, or kiss them or something, because they might make really, really slow movements. They might also just sort of give you this cup of love, but it might not look serious, because you see how there's a literal fish in his cup. Like, how am I going to drink from that, Jeffrey? How do you want me to drink from this salmonella fish cup? That's disgusting. Disgusting! But with the Page of Cups as well, you know, they're still offering it. They're still heartfelt. Do you see how he's holding his heart while he's extending this cup of love? You know, he genuinely means it. He wants the best for the situation, but at the same time, like, he's not 100% pouring his heart and soul into this. You know, this page isn't, you know, on board 100% yet. I feel like they start over brand new, and then they take their time to really kind of feel accustomed to you and feel comfortable with you going forward, if that makes sense. Now, with the Well, again, I feel like this is someone who is going to meditate a lot on you, and a lot just in general in regards to the relationship. This is someone who is very analytical, but I feel like it's because they're very much in their feelings and they've been hurt before. You know, this is someone who is very sensitive, incredibly sentimental, so it's very easy for them to get hurt. You know, it's very easy for them to feel disappointments and to feel sadness. So I feel like it's very important for this person to have time in, I was going to say the wild, in, you know, nature, to be able to regather their thoughts and to be able to ground themselves, to be able to make good decisions. So going forward onto your next few cards, these are your Crow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how they see you. So we have the Nine of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, I love that we went from the Page of Cups to the Knight of Pentacles. We're moving on up. We also have the Fool card. Woohoo! Oh my goodness, the Four of Wands and the Sun. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so right off the bat, they see you as someone who might have a lot of stress in their life, maybe a lot of responsibilities, a lot of burdens, someone who stays up late at night, maybe worrying about these things. You know, maybe you're someone who just literally has a lot on your plate. You have a lot that you have to take care of, you know, and maybe they see you as someone who needs to take time to relax and rest. Oh my goodness, I love how we have so much nap imagery. Are you kidding me? We have that card earlier that's like, you know, there's always enough, so make sure that you take time out to sleep. You know, what's the other card where it's like, make sure that you're sleeping, you know, get enough rest, make sure that you're napping. And look at this Four of Swords. Sometimes when you see the Four of Swords in a reading, it's talking about the universe literally telling you, hey, make sure that you're resting and relaxing, otherwise we're going to force you into rest and relax. Because that's when we actually get the Hanged Man, you know, who is literally a man that is strung up by a tree because he didn't take the time for himself. So the Hanged Man can sometimes come across as your body maybe even getting sick, maybe you come down with a cold or a flu, but it's just because you didn't take that time to nurture yourself and to take care so that you wouldn't catch these things, right? So I feel like you become a little bit more susceptible when you don't get enough sleep, when you don't get enough water, when you don't get enough to eat. So I feel like your future partner is someone who worries about you, to be honest. Your future partner is someone who wants to make sure that you're someone who is always eating, who is always sleeping, who is always getting enough to drink, and maybe someone who is definitely getting enough sleep. Maybe they see you as someone who worries about the relationship a lot with this Nine of Swords. Maybe they see you as someone who has a lot of, I don't want to say mental anguish because I don't think it's like that bad, but at the same time they do see that it causes you pain. They do see that it's a very valid fear and it's a very valid concern for you. You know, maybe you're also worried because you've also been in a very deceitful relationship. Maybe you've been in a relationship that wasn't necessarily conductive for you. So going forward, you know, maybe you're someone who, even though you're a knight, whereas your future partner is a page, you're still someone who isn't coming in with full queen or king energy. You're still coming in with kind of small potatoes offerings, right? You're coming forward and saying, I offer you my time, I offer you my assistance, I offer you really anything that you'd want me to offer you. And I feel like it's going to be a more solid offer than what they're offering. Maybe that's even going to be the energy. Maybe they originally come in with this fish cup, and you're like, excuse me, sir, get that thing out of my face. I will give you a pentacle, and then you reach in your pocket and give me a pentacle too. And that's something that they absolutely love about you, is that you know what you want, you know what you deserve, and you're not going to settle for anything less. And I feel like there's going to be a really big metamorphosis and a really big change when this person comes into your life, which actually brings us onto the Fool. This is a brand new beginning. They see you as someone who is extremely adventurous, someone who is constantly achieving their goals and their ambitions, who is going on to that next great adventure and that next big thing. But they also want to start a brand new adventure into marriage. Like, not even gonna lie. You know, a lot of the people that pick this pile, you are going to settle down with this person. You are going to get married to them. You definitely are going to be in a very healthy relationship with them as well. I don't know why, but I just kind of saw these as banana slices. So maybe for some of you, this is going to be like a vegan relationship. Maybe you're going to have like a vegan wedding. But regardless, I just feel like there's going to be this energy of purification at the same time, you know. And also, you know how when you're really sick and like you eat bananas and like you'll have like normal poops again? It's literally that feeling. Like everything just feels normal again. I guess you could say everything feels the way that it's supposed to. Everything feels healthy. Everything feels good. Right? That's just the best way to put it, I suppose you could say, because then we have the sun. So it's saying, I know we could be very happy together. I want to marry you one day. I want to settle down with you. I want to maybe even have children. I want to experience life with you. I want to experience every single blessing that life has to offer with you, and then some. I mean, the sun card is absolutely beautiful. This is them literally worshiping you and worshiping the ground that you walk on. You know, this is them saying, like, I surrender to you. See how he has this red ribbon in his mouth, but it's also saying, I feel very victorious with you. I feel like we could accomplish anything. I feel like I'm on cloud 9 when I'm around you, because you are inviting, you're warm, you're just as vivacious as I am. You know, you're someone who is independent. You're someone who, maybe you have a Leo in your chart somewhere, right? So you shine bright. You know, you are someone who is just absolutely incredible. I'm going to actually move these cards over here again, because I just noticed they were over there. But regardless, you know, they see you as someone who is just absolutely phenomenal, and they hope that you see yourself in that same light as well. But in regards to the relationship, they're very happy about it, you know, because they do see you as someone who they can constantly go on adventures on, you know, someone who keeps the relationship feeling brand new and keeps it feeling fresh as opposed to feeling stagnant. And maybe that's even why, in regards to the relationship and how they feel about it, they do want to settle down with you. They do want to get married, because they feel like, why would I ever want this to change? Why would we ever fix something that isn't broken, you know? So with the energy of the Fool as well, I feel like this is also saying, would you want to travel with me? Would you want to go on new adventures with me? Would you want to see the world and experience, you know, all that life has to offer? It's that sort of an invitation, right? So going on to your next few cards, these are going to be your Glow Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about what your future partner thinks of you. So we have the High Priestess, the Judgment card. You actually got the most cards out of any of these stacks, and it's only because, okay, so I had shuffled the decks, and each time all of these cards came out, and I kept putting them back, and I was like, I am not taking all those cards for stack 3. That's ridiculous. Well, they came out again a third time, and I was like, you know what? It's a sign. I have to keep all these cards. So we have the High Priestess, Judgment, the Empress, Wheel of Fortune, the Nine of Cups, the Ace of Cups, the Page of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the Ten of Wands in reverse, and the Star in reverse. Okay, so let's break this down, you know? So the High Priestess, right off the bat, they see you as someone who is incredibly balanced, someone who is very mysterious, someone who they're very intrigued by at the same time. I feel like they see you as someone who is incredibly spiritual, someone who is very well read and very well educated, very well rounded at the same time. You have a very good head on your shoulders. I feel like you are someone who has studied and accomplished a lot to be able to be where you are now and going forward. I feel like you have a lot of goals for yourself in mind, but you're not going to share them with everyone. I feel like it's just your select few people that you really love and respect that you're going to let into your private world, right? Now, with the High Priestess being number 2, I feel like you are someone who is very balanced. You're someone who is very good at kind of being a moderator as well. You know, maybe you're good at, or a mediator. There we go. You're good at getting between people, you know, who are fighting and saying, okay, well, how can we find the common ground? How can we come to an understanding here? You know, you're someone who is incredibly compassionate, and that's something that they really, really love about you. Now, with the High Priestess as well, they see you as someone who receives messages from your spirit guides probably on the daily. They see you as someone who maybe even works in tarot, maybe works with divinatory tools, but they definitely see you as someone who is incredibly spiritual. We also have the Judgment card, which is talking about past life relationships. So I feel like maybe they see you as someone who acknowledges that this is a past life connection and that this is a past life relationship. Maybe this is even something that you're going to tell them going forward is, I think we might have known each other in a past life. You know, I just feel this recognition with you that I know you. I feel a familiarity with you even though we've never met before. We also have the Empress with the Wheel of Fortune. So they see you as someone who is incredibly abundant. They see you as someone who is, you know, in that sort of motherly energy and in that very divine feminine energy as well, regardless of if you are male or female, they just see you as someone who is incredibly intuitive, nurturing, compassionate, and loving. You know, you're someone who can analyze a situation and look at it for what it is. You're someone who can also be a very good judge of character, and I think that that's something that they really love and really admire about you. You're also someone who is in harmony with yourself and in harmony with others. You're very peaceful. Now with the Wheel of Fortune, this is a really awesome card because it's talking about how you've been through many seasons in your life. Maybe you're someone who has been through a lot of lessons, a lot of experience and trials and tribulations, but you've always come out of it understanding that not everything lasts forever. You know, maybe you're the type of person who would rather have a hand fasting because it's not as set in stone forever as a marriage is. You know, it's something that either of you could break at any given time, but the two of you are coming together and, you know, having this connection very equally, you know, and very consensually. And I feel like that's something that the two of you might really like. Maybe the two of you are going to stray from the traditional and stray from what normally might transpire in regards to relationship. Maybe the two of you will do things out of order compared to other people, right? But it doesn't much matter because it's whatever makes the two of you happy. And you guys are going to be happy, right? And especially your future partner in regards to you. I mean, they love you. With this Ace of Cups, their cup is overflowing in regards to love. Even though they came to you at first with this cup with a literal fish in it, you know, they fished it out of this well they found, and they're like, oh, I'm going to give this to Jessica. She's going to really like this fish. You know, even though they offered you that, they're coming forward now and saying, hey, now that I've gotten to know you even more, I love you so much. I respect you. I honor you. I literally worship the ground that you walk on. You know, I feel like everything you touch turns to gold. Every little thing she does is magic, right? So we also have the Nine of Cups. So this is, again, talking about sentimentality, feeling like all of your wishes have come true, you know, feeling like everything is coming to full fruition and coming full circle. Now, this is right before the 10, so we're not quite yet to closing the chapter. So there's still something missing. You know, maybe it is the fact that they want to wife or husband you up. They want to take this to the next level. You know, they want to be very successful with you, and they want to make you feel very successful. They want to make you feel very confident, make you feel very loved, and make you feel very abundant in everything that you have. They want to make you feel abundant in love, in material wealth, in actual wealth. Maybe they also want to have a family with you. Maybe they want to adopt a few animals. Maybe they want to start a cockatoo farm with you. But regardless, I feel like they're definitely open to whatever adventures you want to do. We also have the Page of Wands in reverse with the Queen of Wands in reverse. I think that they see you as someone who, you know, is not a hit it and quit it sort of a type, I guess would be the best sort of a way to describe it. Even though I love both of these cards in the upright, I feel like it's very much saying this is more than just a sensual relationship. This is more than just, you know, me liking the way you look. You know how in Mariah Carey's song, Touch My Body, it's very much that energy. But they're like, you know, even though I do want to be physical with you, I do want to show you affection, I do want to show you I care in that regard, it's not only about that, you know, and I think that's really, really beautiful. They're also saying, I'm willing to go through the hardships with you. You know, they find a lot of balance with you. In the upright, this is talking about struggling. It's talking about balancing and trying to juggle, you know, between two things, between love and career, or maybe a relationship and their home life. But regardless, they're saying with you, this isn't juggling. It doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like something that is going to stress me out. Even the burdens seem a lot lighter with you here with me, with you near my side. And with the Star in reverse, I feel like maybe they either see themselves as someone who has really lucked out in regards to the work that I need to do. So going on to your next few cards, these are your Enchanted Tarot cards, and these are going to be closing messages before we get into your descriptor cards. Woohoo! So starting us off, we have, oh my goodness, the Four of Wands. So again, you're definitely going to be marrying this person. You know, I definitely feel like you guys are going to have a home life. You guys are going to just incorporate your families together, and it's going to be a very homebody-ish relationship. Sure, I feel like you guys might take trips to maybe the botanical gardens, maybe you'll go to the amusement park for the day, maybe the two of you will go out and have fun, but at the same time, I feel like the two of you will be very much in that homebody type of an energy. We also have the Ace of Hearts again, so that would be the Ace of Cups. Again, just an overflowing and an overabundance of love, you know. I'm very much being drawn to the lyrics from John Mayer, what do I do with all this love that's running through my veins for you? And I very much feel like that's the energy that they have towards you is, you know, they have so much love, what are they going to do with it? with the Eight of Swords, maybe even at times they feel a little bit scared. Maybe both of you feel a little bit scared. Maybe both of you feel like, am I trapped in this relationship? Am I trapped to, the way that this should be? But your spirit guides really want you to know that this relationship is something that can change and that can evolve, and that's something that's very malleable at the same time, because both of you are very understanding and compassionate. So it's a very conductive relationship to have change, right? Now we also have number 11, Justice. Number 11 would be the number 2, and this is talking about balance. It's talking about kind of coming into equilibrium as well. Now, also with it being partnerships, it's very much saying you're finally going to have the partnership that you deserve, right? And I feel like it's such a beautiful energy to get the Justice card, especially in closing, because it's saying, don't worry, all of the lessons that you've had to go through, maybe even all the bad relationships that you've both had to suffer through, are all going to be worth it in the end when you meet this person that you're going to end up with. We also have the Princess of Hearts, the Three of Pentacles, and the Chariot. So it's saying you're going to make a lot of plans with this person. I feel like you're going to be going on a lot of dates, maybe even planning a lot of dates with them. Now with the Three of Pentacles, you could even be meeting this person at work. For some of you, I feel like you might be meeting this person through your friends, or maybe you have mutual friends that you're going to hang out with. It could even be that they invite you to meet their friends, and their friends really, really like you and really enjoy you and are constantly saying, oh, well, can they come along and join too, and blah, blah, blah. Like, they don't mind that you're coming along. They're very excited about it because they think you're really interesting and very neat. So our last card is number 7, the Chariot. So it could be that this relationship happens very, very fast. Maybe you guys move in together fast. Maybe the two of you decide to get engaged really quick or handfasted. But regardless, I feel like there's just this energy of it being a whirlwind romance. And even though you're very slow and meticulous, as soon as you get the ball rolling and you kind of get it off the ground, so to speak, that's when the relationship is really going to take a turn for the best. It's really going to kick into high drive, and that's when you're really going to see change being implemented. So going on to your descriptor cards, these are just little homemade cards that I made from index cards, and they're going to be what your future partner might look like and what they might act like. So we have neat and organized. I feel like this is someone who it definitely has a place for everything in their apartment. They feel like everything has a home. We also have open-minded, so this isn't the type of person who is going to be closed-minded. This isn't the type of person who is going to be judgmental or judge you and your family. I feel like this is the type of person who is going to be very open-minded in regards to meeting your friends as well, especially if your friends are a little bit hesitant about meeting them. This is someone who is going to go into it with a smile, and they're going to try to kill them with kindness, right? We also have dimples. So I feel like for some of you, this person has really, really sweet dimples, like Mario Lopez dimples, right? We also have facial hair. So maybe this is someone who has facial hair. It could be long facial hair. It could be quite short facial hair. For some of you, I'm seeing a goatee. And I feel like it's like a very nicely groomed goatee. Maybe this is someone who very much takes care of their facial hair. And also, for some of you, there's sideburns, really nice sideburns. We also have loud. So I feel like this is someone who doesn't mind getting loud, especially when they're going out to parties, or especially when they're out in the public eye. This is someone who loves to have a good time. But again, it's because they have that musician energy, which is pretty interesting because look at the next card, musician. So I definitely feel like for a lot of you that picked this pile, you are going to be with a musician. You're going to be with someone who finds music very healing and very calming going forward. And I feel like that's just a way that they express themselves. We also have medium hair, so it could be that they have medium length facial hair, medium length regular hair, but they're very, very calming. They have a very healing energy to them. I feel like when you talk to them, maybe even after a really hard day, they're just so understanding and they're so compassionate, and there's no one else that you would rather turn to. We also have rounded features, so I feel like this is someone who might have a little bit of a rounded nose. They might have cute round cheeks that you can pinch, but I feel like there's nothing on them that's really sharp. We also have forgiving. This is someone who will forgive, but they won't forget. This is someone who will move on from the past, and they like to believe in second chances and maybe even third chances for people, right? This is someone who is very understanding, and they're not going to judge people based on, maybe their actions or something, because this is someone who will put themselves in their shoes and say, well, what would I have done if I were in their situation? If I were, maybe having a bad day, or something like this happened to me, how would I be feeling? How would I react? And I feel like they cut people a lot of slack, but they don't cut themselves enough slack in return. So we also have freckles. I feel like this person, not only with dimples, has a lot of really, really sweet freckles, and I feel like you're really going to love that. Maybe also beauty marks all over their body. We have popular, so I feel like they have a lot of friends, but it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality for this person. So they just like having a few good people in their life. For some of you, I feel like this person might have black hair. Maybe they even dye their hair for a lot of you as well. Maybe they don't like their traditional hair color. Maybe they traditionally have like blonde or like dirty blonde or strawberry blonde, and maybe they're like, no, I look better with black hair. But regardless, I feel like some of you might be dating someone who has darker hair. We also have dependable, so this is someone that you can always rely on no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is. You know, it could be in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve, you know, and they will come rushing to you like this chariot card, you know. It's almost like this Viking woman. They are Audi 5000. They're about to find you, right? Even in the middle of a storm. It kind of reminds me of Frozen. It kind of reminds me of like when Kristoff is running towards Anna on Sven and, you know, trying to give her that true love's kiss. And that's very much their energy towards you. You know, they're going to be just like, swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty. We also have picky. So I feel like they're a little bit picky in regards to food. Maybe this is someone who is a foodie, but, you know, they also kind of have a hang up on like tomatoes. Maybe they don't like eating tomatoes on their burgers. And maybe they don't really like uncooked, like, I was gonna say sausages. I don't really think anyone likes eating uncooked sausages, to be honest, but hey, I mean, if it fits, maybe there's one of you that you're going to be dating and like 5 years down the road, they're gonna like look at you and be like, babe, I don't like eating uncooked sausages. And you're gonna be like, whoa, right? That psychic told me about that. But regardless, with picky as well, I feel like they're picky in regards to their romantic relationships too. I feel like this is someone who doesn't just go out with anyone that they see, and that's something you're really going to love about them. We also have scholarly. They're very well read. They're very intelligent and intellectual. They also have long hair. Oh, okay, so it could be that they have somewhere in between long and medium hair. It's not too long, but it's not too you know, medium length either. It's not too short, right? I think it's just like perfect. It's like Goldilocks hair. For some of you, they might even have really, really long hair. I feel like there might be a few different groups. Maybe there's one musician that has really, really long, like, death metal hair, and then there's one musician that has, like, kind of medium hair, and they do, like, pop music, and maybe there's one that has really short hair, and they do, like, indie music. I don't know, but regardless, this is someone who is incredibly humble. They're very down to earth. They're very understanding as well. Very much a hopeless romantic at heart, too. This is someone who's going to buy you flowers. They're going to, they're just going to spoil you, to be honest. They're going to buy you your favorite food. They're going to surprise you with snacks. They're going to always just make sure that you're taken care of and appreciated. We also have laid back. Woohoo! So I feel like they have a very go with the flow energy, you know, someone who doesn't want to just kind of rush into things. Again, it's like that panda bear energy that we got earlier, you know, someone who just likes taking naps and eating and taking more naps. We also have green eyes. Oh my goodness, they would be absolutely beautiful. Green eyes with black hair. Oh my goodness. Regardless, I feel like their eyes are going to be very, very striking for you. We also have competitive, so I feel like there might be a little bit of a competitive energy. Nothing too bad, but I feel like if you guys were to play video games, or if you guys were to maybe even start a book club, maybe it would be competitive readers who can read this book faster than the other and who can retain the most memory and knowledge from it. But regardless, I feel like the two of you are always going to be competing and having fun with it. So your last card for who your future partner is, we have independent. Woohoo! So that's a really, really awesome card. Again, this is someone who is self-reliant, they're self-sufficient, and they can stand on their own 2 feet. This isn't someone who needs a whole bunch of people in order to feel happy or in order to feel accomplished, right? So I feel like they're going to bring a lot of really beautiful, calming energies into your life when you two are together, right? Thank you so much for watching this video, though. I had so much fun reading for you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure to leave a like down below and a comment as well, as I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day every day. Also, make sure to hit subscribe and also the notification bell if you have not already, to be notified every time that I post a brand new reading. But yeah, I hope that you will also check out my website, DarlingDTarot.com, for 10% off all of my readings. We are having a grand opening sale for having a brand new website, so I'm so excited for you guys to see it. So definitely check that out and maybe get a personal reading with me, right? Also, I have my Etsy in the description box down below and all of my other links. So yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye!